everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're well. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. I'll begin with Aries, work my way around the zodiac wheel, ending at Pisces. Timestamps, as always, will be in the description box. And to help those of you who need these readings translated into a different language, I will be releasing them as 12 individual readings because unfortunately the length of this reading will probably be several hours long, and YouTube will not translate a video that long into 22 different languages. So for those of you who can understand, comprehend English and want to use the timestamps, you're welcome to use this video. For those of you where you would like a video that's a little bit shorter and easily translated by YouTube, then just stand by because, like I said, all 12 of those readings will be spliced up into individual readings for you. And if you are a Time Traveler member, either on Patreon or here on YouTube, I will be doing a collective reading, especially for members as well. And information on how to become a member will be in the description box below. With all of that said now, let's begin. Hello, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading, so as the messages come through today, please take what fits and leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said now, let's begin. We are tapping into the Aries collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the Oracle card here, please, for Aries for the new moon in Gemini message? Thank you. We have Protection, card number 1, and Healer, card number 32. At the bottom of the deck, we have Divine Masculine. You could be a Divine Masculine, or perhaps you are dealing with a Divine Masculine. Let's get a Moonology card here for you, please, for the Aries collective. One Moonology card here, please, for the new moon and Gemini message. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have Prosperity Lies Ahead, new moon in Taurus. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Meditate and Contemplate, new moon in Pisces. Okay. Why is this the message here for the Aries collective, please? Healer and Protection. Prosperity Lies Ahead. Why is this their new moon in Gemini message? One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the Two of Swords. And we have the Emperor. There you are. Bottom of the deck, we have Three of Cups. This continues to come up in your readings. There's an offer or an opportunity. I've cleansed all of these decks. I can't tell you how many times I spent 2 days cleansing 152 decks, I think I have now. And I don't know why this keeps coming up, but it is. You have an offer and opportunity here, and it looks like you are undecided about whether or not you want to move forward with it. And that Ace of Cups could be anything. Something in regards to career and finance, house and home, love and romance, some other aspect of your life. Tell me more about that Ace of Cups here for Aries. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Ace of Cups is clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Swords, and the Two of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Swords. Okay. So it appears here that this person, I don't know who they are, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, this is someone that you are familiar with. There's a soulmate, soul bond connection here between you and this person. And it looks like this person has taken a chance, if you will, taken a gamble with that Wheel of Fortune. It's like this was the opportune time for them to present you with this offer or opportunity. But with the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck to the Strength card to the Seven of Wands, I almost feel like you have rejected this. You either rejected this offer from this individual or you just haven't responded. Either way, this person is seeing it as a rejection. They seem to be very guarded. I think with that Protection card and the Healer card, maybe for some of you, this person is now like protecting themselves from you because you either didn't accept it or you didn't respond. Tell me about that Two of Swords here for Aries. Why is the Two of Swords here for Aries? One more shuffle. Thank you. The Two of Swords is clarified by the King of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Pentacles. So it's almost like you know that either by saying no or by saying nothing, right? And that Two of Swords, that could be saying nothing. The feeling is like, you know, that this, like by not giving a yes, you're basically saying a no. Or saying I don't know is basically saying no to this person. And you're aware of that. That King of Pentacles to the Five of Pentacles to the Eight of Wands is like, I know the direction now that this is moving. And like, if I don't respond, I know that the offer will like evaporate or come off the table. So this could be like someone, maybe you have put out some applications or resumes as an example for a job, and this is an employer now who has provided you with this job opportunity. I'm not sure if you said no with that Two of Swords. It could be like you haven't even responded to them. You haven't responded to the job offer, but you know that not responding is the same as saying no. Like you still know in that Five of Pentacles to the Eight of Wands, you're still expecting to like to lose this, if you will. So you know that by not saying anything at all, that it's taken off the table. The Emperor. Why is the Emperor here for Aries? Why is the Emperor here for Aries? One more shuffle. Thank you. The Emperor is clarified by the Fool, the Two of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have Nine of Swords. That's really interesting because the energy that I get here is like, by you, I don't feel like you have said no. Let me get a yes or no on that. If we get a Ace or Major Arcana card, that would be a yes. Has Aries said no to this already? Have they said no to this already? One more shuffle. Thank you. Have you said no to this? Ace of Pentacles. Oh, you have. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So you have. So for most of you, all right, take the message out, you know, only how it resonates. Some of you have said no to this person. No, I'm rejecting this job. Others of you haven't said anything in that Two of Swords. It's almost like you think you still have time to like, well, I could still consider this, but I don't think you realize that you can't consider this. Like if you have said no, or you haven't said anything at all, this person is seeing this as a rejection. So whether you're masculine or feminine, Aries, we all have masculine, feminine energy within us. This is, look what's right behind that, the new moon card. Wow, this is the new moon in Gemini reading. So it's something like, if you want this offer opportunity, I feel like you need to do something before or during, like while we're in the energy of the new moon. Like I think then you have an opportunity to heal the situation, like to accept the offer. Otherwise, I feel like then it's taken off the table. So I feel like you have a very limited time. It's important here that you meditate and contemplate if you want this offer or not. Because I think you seem to think you're like, you have enough time to make this decision, and I don't believe you do. Tell me more about the person here who's making the offer. Tell me more about the person. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Ace of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Strength card. Yeah, this is someone who presented you with the offer. Like they had truth, they had clarity. Again, we'll use the job as the, you know, as an example here. This is someone who was like, it's the right thing to do is to offer Aries with this job opportunity. And so they took action to do that, to provide you with this opportunity. I feel like if you say no, it's off the table. I don't think you can revisit it. You seem to be of the belief here that you can, but I don't think you can. This opportunity is one of prosperity. Prosperity lies ahead, but not if you say no to it. So if you say no, I feel like it comes off the table. If you don't say anything and you sit in indecision, I feel like it comes off the table as well. Strength, Seven of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, Three of Swords. There goes the Three of Swords again, and then we have the Lovers card. Some of you could be dealing with a Gemini. You don't have to be, maybe another fire sign as well. But this is definitely the energy of someone who is disappointed at the very least, heartbroken at the worst here, and now they sort of put up a wall. Like now they're holding back from you with that Seven of Wands. They're putting up a wall. This person feels rejected by you. So I know you think that I think you think that you have more time to make this decision, and you don't. Let's get you timing. How long does Aries have to make this decision? I feel like it's imminent. One more shuffle. Thank you. Page of Swords, 1 week, I'm doing this reading on, what day is it today? It's the 10th, and this reading is for the new moon in Gemini, which is on the 14th. So for me, swords are weeks, and the Page of Swords, which would be your communication, is like 1 week. So I feel like you have 1 week here. Tower, that's eminent. I think you, and this is very, very much for me lately. I used to see that as a little bit of Pluto and a little bit of Mercury, a little bit of like, not Mercury, I'm sorry, Aries, your sign, Mars, something that comes in very quickly, something fiery, some type of upheaval or a change, a little bit of like Plutonic energy, if you will. So I always saw it as a little bit Scorpio and a little bit Aries, but lately I've been seeing it a lot as Uranus. And Uranus is the higher octave of Gemini, sorry, higher octave of Mercury, and Mercury rules communication. So there's something here like you have about a week I feel like to go back to this person to say yes, or maybe say I need more time to think about it. But if you say no, I feel like it's off the table in a week. And if you don't say anything at all, you just sort of let it sit, I feel like the offer is taken off the table. And I think it happens quickly. It's like, and then there's silence. So this person like withdraws. So maybe you think you can communicate afterwards and try to heal the situation, but I don't think that is possible. I feel like your no, or your indecisiveness here to not say anything is seen as a rejection for this person. Let's get you 3 cards of advice here. 3 cards of advice here for Aries. One more shuffle. Thank you. Your advice. We have Temperance. We have the 8 of Cups. And we have the 5 of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have Page of Pentacles here. Whatever this offer is here that this person has presented to you, there's something here about you really contemplating it, like its purpose and its meaning in your life, because I feel like if you don't respond to this, this ends up being a loss. Sometimes that 5 of Swords could talk about loss or defeat. So there's something like that here. Like if you don't make a decision or you don't get back to this person, I feel like you end up losing the offer here or the opportunity that is on the table. But that is what I have for you. And interesting enough, it will require you to communicate to this person. And this is the new moon in Gemini reading for you. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury rules communication. So if you have been presented this offer, Aries, or you are presented with this offer in the next week, I would respond to this person as soon as you can. Otherwise, it appears the offer is off the table. That is what I have for you. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that on your mobile device. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace. Hello, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, please take what fits and leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said now, Taurus, let's begin. We're tapping into the Taurus collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the oracle card here for Taurus, please, for this new moon in Gemini? Let's get one more shuffle here for you. Thank you. We have Time, card number 41. And at the bottom of the deck, we have new moon. Ah, look at that. It is your new moon in Gemini message. Okay. Can we get a Moonology card here, please, for the Taurus collective? Moonology card here, please, for Taurus, for the new moon in Gemini message. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have a personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer. Well, the next full moon that we actually have in the sign of Cancer would be the full moon in Capricorn that we have. I believe that is June 29th. Tell me more about this here, please, for Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Why is time and a personal issue reaches resolution? Their new moon in Gemini message. And at the bottom of the deck here, you have it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. And right behind that is the end of a tough cycle approaches. Oh, look at that, full moon in Capricorn. I had said there's a full moon in Capricorn in Cancer season. I believe it is June 29th, okay? Tell me more about this here, please, for Taurus. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the 7 of Cups. We have the Knight of Cups. And we have the 6 of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have King of Wands. So I feel like there's an action here that you want to take, Taurus, but you're not quite sure in that 7 of Cups if you should take it. Tell me about that 7 of Cups here for Taurus. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Seven of Cups is clarified by the Star, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. There you are. That's your major arcana card. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Ten of Swords. So the feeling here is that there's a particular action that you would like to take. This is some type of like dream, wish, hope that you have here. But because in the past you were emotionally disappointed, like there's a feeling here of like, I put a lot of work into something. Eight of Pentacles to the Eight of Cups. I put a lot of work into a particular situation, environment, or connection. And I either was like rejected or not accepted, not chosen. And it left you feeling betrayed in the Ten of Swords card. And then with the Eight of Cups, it's like you felt like you were like at an emotional loss. So I feel like I'm speaking to a group of you where you did take action. You did move towards a particular situation, environment, or connection. But the end result wasn't what you were hoping for. With that Ten of Swords, there was a feeling of betrayal here, a feeling of like emotional loss. For some of you, maybe that situation, environment, or connection has ended. Now with the Time card here at the bottom of the deck, this is Saturn in this Oracle deck. So there's a feeling here of like, there's a feeling here of like, I would like to now take this opportunity, but I'm afraid because the last time I took a big opportunity, it didn't end well for me. So I could be speaking to a Taurus where maybe right now you're single in the Nine of Pentacles, but you're thinking about commitment. You could be thinking about commitment or maybe asking your person, you know, to marry you or something like that, or you want to get married to your person. But it's like, well, the last time I did that, it ended in divorce, right? With that Eight of Cups to the Ten of Swords. So there's something like that here at play. There's a wish, dream, or goal that you have. But the last time you did something similar, it didn't pan out well for you. And so you seem to be a bit resistant about doing it again or trying it again. Tell me about that Knight of Cups. Tell me about the Knight of Cups. Because I feel like this is what you want to offer. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Knight of Cups is clarified by the Ten of Cups. There's that Eight of Cups again and the World card. Bottom of the deck, King of Cups. So there is something here that you want to go after, achieve. And this could be anything. Again, it could be a single Taurus who now wants to get out into the dating world and wants to date again, but they're a little apprehensive because the last time they were in a relationship, they were betrayed. I could be speaking to a Taurus where you would like to reunite with someone, whether that is professional, platonic, or romantic individual, but it's like, but the relationship didn't end on good terms, so I don't know if I want to reconnect with this person. The Knight of Cups can also be seen as someone who's going out on this adventure because there's something that they want to obtain or attain or create for themselves that feels good to them. So I want to learn this skill or launch this business, or, you know, there's something like that here. But the last time I tried to gain that skill or launch that business, it didn't end well for me. So you have identified something here that you feel would be very emotionally pleasing to you in that Ten of Cups energy. There's very much a desire in the Knight of Cups energy to want to go after it. But you seem to be plagued here or reminded that the last time you did something similar, you were faced with defeat or an ending, or there was an emotional loss or possibly a betrayal here. Six of Cups. I think you're afraid of the past repeating itself. I feel like I have a group of you where you're concerned about the past repeating itself. Tell me about that. Six of Cups. Six of Cups would be the past. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Six of Cups is clarified by the King of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the Six of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Six of Pentacles. So this is something that you've been wanting to do for quite some time. I really want to move forward in this direction. I think that I would be successful in this direction. But there's a party that's like, I'm really nervous to do that. So let's say, again, I go back to like a single Taurus here. Nine of Pentacles is a very single energy. I could be speaking to a Taurus. You've been single for quite some time and you're like, you know what? I would really like to get out there and see what other soulmate connections there are. I would like to find the one or a one. But the conflict here is I know what I want. I've been wanting it for quite some time. But the last time I went after that, I was disappointed. Tell me more about the disappointment. Okay, these fell face up. There are a lot of cards, but we'll take them. The disappointment, the Queen of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, the Strength card, and the Three of Pentacles. So the last time you went towards something, situation, environment, connection, maybe even like an investment for some of you, it didn't yield the result that you wanted. You took the inspired action, but then you were like stuck. There was something here like I put my all into this in that strength card. I put my all into this. I was fixed on this, right? Four of Pentacles is a very fixed energy. And I really put the effort in here. And I thought I was doing the right thing. And it ended up not being the right thing. Or again, it didn't yield the result that I want. So it could also be speaking to a Taurus now that we have this amount of Pentacles on the table. I could be speaking to a Taurus like the last time you put out your resumes and applications to get a job, you didn't receive good feedback or you didn't receive a good job offer. And even though there's a part of you now that says, okay, it's time, right? It's time for me to go look for a new job. Oh, right behind that, we have the shift card. So it's time for me to shift my life in a new direction, professionally speaking. I'm a little apprehensive to put my resumes and applications out there again because I don't want to be rejected again. I don't want to go on 10 interviews only to not get a call back. So I feel like at the heart of this for you, Taurus, is a fear of rejection based on a past experience that you had. Anything else Taurus needs to know about this? Let's clarify that world card. Clarify that world card here. One more shuffle. Thank you. The world card is clarified by the Nine of Swords. There's the anxiety, the confusion, Eight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. Bottom of the deck, we have Emperor and the Devil. Yeah, there's Taurus, I feel like there's something here that's transpired in your past, and you might be saying to the world or maybe even to yourself, oh, everything's fine. A lot of time has gone by since then. You know, I've healed. I'm over it. I'm ready to move forward. But I don't think you are. I forgot who said it. Someone said it to me once. There are certain people in your life that you can't lie to: your lawyer, your doctor, and your tarot reader. And there's something like that here. Like, I know to me, you're saying like, it's fine. That was in the past and I've moved on from it, but you haven't. It still plagues you when it comes to looking for another job, looking for another opportunity, looking for love, or for those of you in a connection where maybe you are desiring a higher level or a deeper commitment between you and your person, you're still afraid to move forward in that direction because of something that happened here. And I know to me, you're saying, but I'm fine. But I'm telling you, energetically, you're not. There's a fear of rejection or abandonment here in the Taurus collective. Let's get you 3 cards of advice, because I feel like it's time for you to confront the rejection that took place. It's time for you to confront it, release it. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Oh, it says look at the bigger picture. And then right behind that is the balsamic moon, a time for healing. So this would be a great time with the new moon in Gemini for you to do this, Taurus, to actually like release this once and for all, or to be honest with yourself, right? Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules communication. Have an honest conversation with yourself. I'm really not over this. I have suppressed it, you know, but I really am not 100% over what happened. And I think there's an abandonment wound or a rejection wound that just the idea of you moving forward towards something that you desire, it's re-triggering that abandonment wound or that rejection wound. And that's something that you can look at and begin to heal in the new moon in Gemini energy. But I think it does require you to have an honest conversation with yourself that wound exists, that you're not fully over whatever transpired in the past. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. I think it's time for you to heal this wound, Taurus. One more shuffle. Thank you. Your advice, Fool card. There's your beginning. The 8 of Wands and the World card. Wow. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Wands. Everything I said is the truth. Your ability to move forward in your life, to have that new beginning, to move towards the new situation, environment, connection that you want, it does require you to look at that ending that is here. Because I don't feel like it's just the ending itself. There's something deeper here for the Taurus collective. It's like that ending or that rejection actually triggered something possibly from childhood. And that might have been, I hate to say it, the reason for that 10 of Swords, 8 of Cups that you experience. If we look at our interactions with people as lessons that we had to learn, it's possible that that particular lesson, as difficult as that was for you to finally look at that wound. And I think this would be the opportune time, if you will, your oracle card. It's time for you to look at that wound, not so much to go back in the past and look at the Ten of Swords that just happened to you, but I think you have to go further back because that triggered something in you that's now making you afraid to like try again or move forward in a new direction towards something that you truly want. But again, there's a I don't want to feel that again feeling. And I think you got to go pretty deep, maybe for some of you, into your childhood in that Six of Cups to see where exactly it comes from. But this would be the time for you to do it. And it begins with an honest conversation with yourself. That is what I have for you, Taurus. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video on your mobile device if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, Taurus, have some patience and grace with yourself while you go through this process. And as always, I'm sending you light, love, and peace. Hello, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. And of course, if you are a Gemini sun sign, I'd like to wish you a very happy birthday. With all of that said now, let's begin. We're tapping into the Gemini collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the Oracle card here, please, for the Gemini collective for their new moon in Gemini message? Let's get one more shuffle. Thank you. We have Nature Spirits, card number 39. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Meditate, card number 40. Let's get a Moonology card here for you. Moonology card here, please, for the Gemini collective for their new moon in Gemini message. Nature, Spirits, and Meditate. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have Show the World the Real You, full moon in Aquarius. And at the bottom of the deck, we have It's Time to Take Action, new moon in Aries. So it's possible for some of you, you have a decision here or something that you need to act on. You're not quite sure what to do, right? Aries is action. That is the Emperor in Tarot. So it's possible at this time you could be feeling like, I need to make this decision. I don't know what to do. I think your message at this time is, I think you need to go within, maybe spend some time in nature, meditation, grounding. Right behind that, we have New Life, and then we have Air. So let's see what this is all about here. I just feel like you have a really big decision here to make, some action that you need to take or you should take, and you're not sure whether or not you should take it or not, or you should move in that direction or not. Tell me more about this here, please, for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Why do we have Nature Spirits and Show the World the Real You as their new moon in Gemini message? Let's get one more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And we have Judgment. Bottom of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So again, this feels like this is the time. Six of Pentacles, Four of Cups. So if you were to move in this direction, this would be the opportune time for you to do that. So there's a situation, environment, or connection here in your life that is not emotionally fulfilling or not emotionally pleasing. And you're sort of sitting on the fence on whether or not to walk away from it or not. Tell me about that Eight of Cups here for Gemini. Because the Eight of Cups for me is a card of movement. It means something here has plateaued. It's emotionally disappointing, whether this is in career and finance, love and romance, or some other aspect or area of your life. And moving in that Eight of Cups means we're moving in the direction of the Nine of Cups, something that would be more emotionally pleasing to us, even if we can't quite see it yet. Tell me more about that Eight of Cups. One more shuffle. Thank you. Eight of Cups is clarified by the Empress, the Magician. Wow. And the Knight of Wands. Bottom of the deck, we have King of Swords, Ten of Pentacles, and the Seven of Cups. So if you have seen my readings before, welcome back. If you haven't, howdy, howdy. But for me, Queens exist in the present. They're processing the present. They're most certainly processing the past. And Kings take action. It's not hierarchical or masculine versus feminine. It's just how I look at a suit of cards. And for me, the Empress is the queen of all queens, and the Emperor is the king of all kings. So there's something here I feel like you're trying to gain clarity on. There's a manifestation here that you want. There's something here that you want in your life. And it's like you want it to come in quickly. The problem you have is, I think you want it to be here. You want it to be at this location, this job, this situation, this relationship, this friendship. There's something like, I want it to be here, but it's not here. You're seeing in this King of Swords, it's not here. It's time for me to move forward towards my manifestation. But I think with that Queen of Pentacles there, where again, you're processing the past, this is something you've invested a lot of yourself into. And that resource can be anything of investment: time, love, money, talent. Again, I don't know what that is for you. I'll see if I can get more on that for you, Gemini. But if this message is resonating for you, there's a situation, environment, or connection that is not emotionally pleasing to you. You would like it to be, and it's not. And you're wondering if you should move in another direction. Queen of Pentacles. Tell me about the Queen of Pentacles. One more shuffle. Thank you. So what you're processing here, the Knight of Cups, the Three of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. Bottom of the deck, the Hermit. Wow. The Hermit, the Six of Wands, the Five of Swords. So again, we see here something that you would like victory with or victory in hasn't proven itself to be very victorious in that Five of Swords. Now, whether those are, arguments, disagreements, cutting words, betrayal, conflict, manipulation, that's going to be different for all of you. But while you're processing this disappointing situation, the realization that you're having is, I want happiness in my life. I want to be able to move forward towards situations, environments, or connections that are emotionally pleasing. So there is something here where this isn't the Ten of Cups. I wish it could be the Ten of Cups. I'm manifesting the Ten of Cups, and I can move towards it at any time. I don't know why you're so stuck on that Eight of Cups, because you're not happy with it. But I get the feeling here that you do want happiness with it. Judgment. Tell me about Judgment. I'm going to go back to that Eight of Cups for you, Gemini, for those of you resonating with the message. Tell me about Judgment here. Because the intuitive hit that I'm getting is like, once you make up your mind on this, like there's no turning back. Like once you decide to leave this job, you're going to go full throttle. That Empress to the Magician to Knight of Wands, like I'm just going to find another job. Once you make the decision, I don't want to live here anymore, you're going to go full throttle to move. Even if this is a connection, like with a friend, a family member, or a lover, as much as you want it to be the Ten of Cups, if it's not, I feel like this. Like once I make the decision to walk away from it, there's no going back. And I think that's a delay, or that's a dilemma that you're having here. It reminds me of a Goodfellas. I hate to trivialize what you're experiencing down to a movie, but it's like when Paulie's at the stove and oh geez, the name escapes me now. Henry comes to him and he's asking him for more money, and like Paulie gives it to him, but then he says to him, but now I got to turn my back on you. That's the feeling here. Is like, once you make this judgment call and you show the world a real you and you take action to move in this, oh, right behind that, we have step out of your comfort zone. So the moment you do this, like there's no going back. Like the moment you ask, you're a single Gemini and you ask the person out on a date, you can't take it back. Like once the words come out of your mouth, they're out of your mouth. So that's the feeling here. Tell me about the Judgment card. One more shuffle. Thank you. Judgment is clarified by the Six of Cups, the Ten of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. That's exactly what it is. King of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck. So whoever this person is to you, professional, platonic, or romantic, you either have known them since childhood. They certainly could be a family member. If this is a romantic partner, this is someone that you see or recognize as a soulmate. Even if this is a job that you've been at for a long time, or a job you were hoping to be at for a long time, whatever this is to you, once you make the judgment call, because again, queens process the present and the past. So based upon your present and past experience with whomever or whatever this is, once you make the judgment call to end it in that Ten of Swords, there is no going back for you. There's only forward movement. King of Pentacles, the Strength card, and the Chariot to the Ace of Swords. It's like once that is your moment of clarity, if you will, like the decision that you make, it's like final. Then you start pouring your Pentacle resources in a new direction. So if this message is resonating for you, I think this is a good time here for you to meditate and maybe spend some time in nature. Why is this so difficult for Gemini to move on from? Tell me about that Eight of Cups. Tell me about that Eight of Cups. Tell me about the Eight of Cups. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the Seven of Wands. And we have the Seven of Pentacles. Bottom of deck, Nine of Swords. Because you've been waiting for this situation, environment, or connection to improve for a long time. And you almost feel like you're blocked. like whether they're blocking you, the person's blocking you, the universe is blocking you. Because remember, in that 8 of Cups, what we're in search of is the 9th cup. So there's the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is blocked by the 7 of Wands and the 7 of Pentacles. So you feel like no matter how much I invest, Queen of Pentacles, in this, regardless of the length of time of investment, I feel like it's just blocked. Like that 9th cup is not here. So I'm asking why you, what you're walking away from, or why you're walking away from it. And that seems to be the reason. Like you waited a long time for that Ace of Cups, and it's not coming. 9 of Swords, very much up in your head. 2 of Swords, there's that I don't know what to do. Page of Wands, Page of Swords. It's like you keep waiting. You keep waiting for the job to improve, the relationship to improve, the connection to improve, the living situation to improve. Again, whatever this is for you. Anything else on that 8 of Cups here? Anything else on the 8 of Cups? I feel like you're manifesting it. We have the moon, so we do have the new moon in Gemini. So I think this is what you have been doing. I think you have been, as the Empress here, whether you're masculine or feminine, I feel like you have been manifesting for this to turn into the 9 of Cups. I just don't think that it's turning into that. The moon, the King of Pentacles, and Justice, bottom of the deck, the Death card. You have been manifesting for this to change, for it to transform, for it to be more fair and balanced, for whoever's on the other end of this, professional, platonic, or romantic connection, or soulmate connection. You have been hoping that it would turn it around. They would turn it around. Things would be fair. Things would be balanced. They would see your worth. They would see your value. And I just feel like it's not happening. So I have a Gemini collective here who's contemplating, since this is not changing, in that 4 of Cups. And I feel, look at that, 4 of Cups, 3 of Swords. Since it's not changing, and I feel disappointed or heartbroken or saddened or rejected by whomever, whatever this is, since it's not transforming, I may as well just end it. And that Wheel of Fortune is like, maybe this is the right time to do that. Again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just telling you what's energetically here. 6 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords. Maybe I need to like pivot and go in another direction. Anything else Gemini needs to know about this taking action here? Because I feel like this is really what you want. It just hasn't materialized into that. Tell me more about that 10 of Swords, and then we'll get you 3 cards of advice. Tell me about that 10 of Swords. One more shuffle. Thank you. We'll take them. 10 of Swords is clarified by 8 of Pentacles. Wheel of Fortune shows itself again. And the 9 of Cups, and that's what you're looking for. King of Wands, again, remember what I said. Kings take action. We have the King of Wands, we have the Hierophant, and we have the Emperor to the Fool card. Oof, okay. I have a Gemini collective here, and again, please don't allow tarot to dictate what you do. But the feeling here seems to be, I'm going to work on this for a little bit more. I'm going to give this a little bit more of my patience, a little bit more of my time, a little bit more of my dedication. I don't know why it's coming across that way. But the feeling is like, I'm going to give it a little bit more, just a little bit more, to see if this 5 of Swords, 8 of Cup type of situation changes. And if it does not, I'm moving in another direction. Again, Kings take action. So I feel like you're going to give this just a little bit more time to see if it aligns with you. I don't even think you're looking for hope or promise at this point, because I think that's what you've been sort of like hanging on by a thread there, on hope and promise. So I think now there's something here like, I'm looking for actionable change. And if not, I'm going to pivot and move in another direction. And I see you doing that. So for those of you where this message is resonating, it looks like you know, because we're clarifying that 10 of Swords, that if this does not change relatively soon, you're going to pivot and move in another direction, in a direction that is like more aligned to you. But I do think in the interim, you're giving this just a little bit more time. You're having a little bit more patience with whatever or whomever this is. In the interim, though, your advice here is to go within, and again, walks in nature, meditation. There's definitely something like that, because I feel like you're very confused about whether or not to move in this other direction and have this new life, if you will, or this new chapter. Yeah, without this person, place, or thing in it. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. 3 cards of advice here for Gemini. 3 cards of advice. One more shuffle. Thank you. Your advice for this message. We have the Knight of Swords, we have the Hangman, and we have King of Wands shows themselves again. There you are, Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, and the Ten of Swords. You are heavily contemplating your, and this is only, you know, only advice, before you consider putting an end to this, because I feel like with the two Ten of Sword cards, we don't have the World card, but we do have the Fool, which tells me with that two Ten of Swords cards, plus the Wheel of Fortune, you're heavily contemplating moving on from this. Before you do that, pause. That Knight of Swords, this is like, I'm going to take action on my own behalf. I hold the sword of truth. I have everything that I need, and I'm just moving in another direction. And remember what I said, kings just take action. But smack in between them is the Hangman. And the Hangman, I don't know why. I cleansed these cards. I did not put them in the reverse, but the Hangman here came out in the reverse. So there's something here. The Hangman in the reverse could talk about self-destruction, indecision, delay. There's something here about pausing before you take action. So don't take action right now prior to the new moon in Gemini. I mean, if this is like a really abusive situation, environment, or connection, that's a different story. But why does Gemini have to wait? It's your birthday season. So 10 of Pentacles in the upright came out of the deck. So there's something here about you may regret moving on from this situation, environment, or connection in that with that self-destruction there. You may regret doing that, or you may get very angry over this, and you may speak out of turn, or you may say some cutting words. So it's just, and that would end this situation for you as well. So there's something here about pausing before you do that. Why should Gemini pause before they do that? Why should they pause? One more shuffle. Thank you. Why should you pause? Two of Wands, future planning, but it's also a decision-making card. It is another pause card. Two of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, there's that Seven of Wands to Temperance to the Ten of Swords. See, there's something here like, wait, Gemini. Even like Archangel Michael is getting in the way here. And there's something here about like, wait, Gemini. I feel like this person, like whoever it is, I hate to say that you're waiting on them, but you kind of have been. They do come in with an offer. So maybe this is a job where you're like just a hair away from quitting, and maybe you want to say some nasty words and collect all your stuff on Friday and just like leave. But again, if it's not an abusive situation, hang in there, because I feel like then that would be like the boss or supervisor, manager coming in with an offer. Same thing if this is like a friend, family member, lover. Maybe you're having an issue with your neighbor. Whomever this person is, could be a family member. Again, it's a general collective reading, but there's something here about pausing before you make that decision, because this person comes in with some type of offer, opportunity, apology. The Page of Pentacles is holding the Ace of Pentacles. Anything else Gemini needs to know about what is being offered? Anything else they need to know about what's being offered? One more shuffle. Thank you. Strength, Seven of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. Bottom of the deck, Three of Wands. So it's not really telling me what's being offered. It's just telling me that if you move forward right now, if you're like, I'm going to take all the courage, I don't care, I'm going to do this, this isn't right, I feel like you're sabotaging something here that's meant to come to you in divine timing. And there's that Wheel of Fortune here as well. Then we have we did. So I know that you want to move on this because you're not happy with this, but even that Three of Wands is like waiting. Knight of Pentacles, the Lovers. I feel like Seven of Pentacles, whoever it is that you're waiting on, I feel like they come in. It feels like it's almost like a last minute thing. So maybe for now you want to cool down, relax. You know, we can get a little heated or hot-headed at times. I say that as a Gemini sun. So I just want to tell you not to sabotage this opportunity. I mean, what's meant for you will never pass you by, but you certainly can sabotage it or delay it significantly by maybe saying or doing something a little inappropriate. So I would hang back on this. Can we get timing for when Gemini can expect that Page of Pentacles? I feel like you would be sabotaging this if you acted too soon. Not every card in Tarot's timing, but let's see what we get. When does that Page of Pentacles come in here for Gemini? One more shuffle. Thank you. The Hermit. That's by Virgo season, but let's look at the timing card. I don't feel like you have to wait that long for it. But again, the Hermit would talk about you doing introspection. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Cups, and that would be the 7th month of the year for me in terms of timing. So that is July. Ace of Swords, that's the truth. So by July or in July is actually when you receive the offer, the communication, the opportunity. I'm not telling you to sit around and look at your watch, but there is something like that here about you just kind of pausing for now. Again, as long as this is not like an immediate, you know, emergency type of 911 thing, I would wait till July. Can I get extra timing here for the Gemini collective about that? You will have to wait. You know that. Can we get timing? Next week. So with the new moon in your sign, bottom of the deck is September, which is Virgo season. But again, I don't feel like most of you have to wait that long. There's something here. I know that you want to move on it like now, like this week, but I would wait till next week. I don't know why, but I would give this another week and not do anything. Maybe just like cool your jets a little bit, Gemini. Again, meditate, go out in nature if you can. I don't know where you live in the world, but that seems to be the advice for you. And right behind September, we have this week, and then you have in the coming weeks. So I would hang tight for a week or two and just see how this plays out before you take action. And maybe with that step out of your comfort zone, maybe that's a little bit out of your comfort zone to do that. The next card there is bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius, and right behind that is take time to breathe out. So maybe that's what you need here. Maybe this is not the right time to take action, even though you want to. That is what I have for you, Gemini, at this time. I feel like the answers you need are coming. I'm probably going to call your video that. But that is what I have for you. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, have some patience. And as always, I'm sending you light, love, and peace. Hello, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, please take what fits and leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means that it is meant for someone else. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. All of that said now, my friends, let's begin. We're tapping into the Cancer collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the Oracle card here, please, for the Cancerian collective for their new moon and Gemini message? Let's get one more shuffle. Thank you. We have Transformation, card number 19. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Meditate, card number 40. Let's get a Moonology card now, please, for the Cancer collective for their new moon and Gemini message. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Well, this is a new moon in Gemini. And at the bottom of the deck, you have your commitment is being tested. First quarter moon. Okay, tell me what this is all about, please, for the Cancer collective. Why is transformation and the answers you need are coming? Why is this their new moon in Gemini message? One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the Ace of Cups, the Seven of Wands, and the Page of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Wands. So there is a opportunity here, either one that is being given to you or one that you can create or initiate for yourself. What do I mean by that? You're a single Cancerian and you want to meet someone. You know, some random person is not going to just magically knock on your door, ring your doorbell, but you could create that opportunity by putting yourself out there. Same thing if this is work related or in regards to any other aspect of your life. So for some of you, you have already done the work in respect to like putting yourself out there. And if so, you have that new opportunity. And if not, you can create the new opportunity by putting yourself out there. Let's see where we go with the message. Tell me about that Ace of Cups, please, for the Cancer collective. Okay. That was the Nine of Pentacles. One more shuffle. Thank you. Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, and the Chariot. Bottom of the deck, we have Two of Cups. So there's an opportunity here for you to connect with an individual. This can come in very quickly after a period of waiting. So maybe you've been waiting a long time for a job and you have been doing your due diligence, putting out your resumes and your applications. In that respect, this would be like a new professional soulmate that is coming in. By Cancer season, in Cancer season, with that Chariot card there, this would transform your life In terms of your pentacle resources, for others of you, very well could be love related, or again, some other opportunity. So if you have been putting in the time, 9 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, you have been putting in the time to manifest or create that opportunity for yourself. I think like it's coming in. That's the message here. For others of you, this is the opportune time for you to start on this. So it can come in for you. So there's a professional, platonic, or romantic soulmate here that the universe is trying to bring into your life. This is a connection that will transform your life. You need to be committed to this. Your commitment is being tested. And right behind that, we have the full moon in Scorpio, which is transformation. So your commitment is being tested. How badly do you want this new beginning? Because I do think you need to put in some effort here, like I said, to attract it or create it. Tell me more about this 7 of Wands. Tell me more about these 7 of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. The 7 of Wands is clarified by the Hermit, the Star, and the King of Swords, bottom of the deck, Knight of Cups. So the answers you need are coming, but this is what I was talking about, like you doing the footwork here. Notice in that 7 of Wands, the individual is like crossing the bridge. They're willing to do the work. They're willing to get over to the other side where this opportunity exists. So there's something here about you going within, that Hermit energy to the Star card, and decide, is this something that you truly want? Because if you're willing to put in the effort, then I feel like it comes in. The job, the relationship, the friendship, the business opportunity, and it will transform your life. So I would meditate. Meditate to that Hermit card here. Right behind that, we have shift. So there is a life shift here that can occur. But again, I feel like you have to get the ball rolling. Tell me more about that Page of Wands. Leave that King of Swords there. Tell me about that Page of Wands. So if you're looking for a job, this is the opportune time. If you have been looking for a job, you have that job opportunity coming in. Same thing, like I said, if it's love related or even housing related. Tell me about that Page of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. Page of Wands is clarified by the Page of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and Justice, bottom of deck, 3 of Cups. Well, this is quite the cause for celebration. So if you're watching this reading and you're like, I know exactly what she's talking about. I have been looking for a job. I've been making it my job to find the job or find another job. I feel like rest assured you have 1, possibly 2 job opportunities coming in, either by Cancer season or very early on in Cancer season. Definitely within the next 30 days. But from the day that I'm doing this reading, I'm recording this on the 10th. The new moon in Gemini is on the 14th. So within that 30-day window, if you have been doing the work, you have 1, possibly 2 job opportunities coming in. One will be better than the other. One is more solid than the other. One could be you're working at a location. The other one may afford you the ability to work from home. If you need a job, this is your opportune time to put in the work. Because like I said, 1 or 2 opportunities coming in. Same if it's love related. If you're single and you really have been putting yourself out there, then I feel like you have 1 or 2 love partners coming in. One is a little bit more fun and flirty in that Page of Wands. That would be the message you're receiving or the connection you're receiving here. And this individual is a little bit more fun and flirty and lighthearted. And then you have that Page of Cups. This is someone who's more operating from a basis of like emotional maturity. I know that it's a page, but I'm looking at them as messengers. So this would be someone who's looking for long-term commitment. And this would be someone who's like, I'm not sure if I want long-term commitment. Right now, I'm just looking to like kind of play the field and have fun. But again, no judgment here. You choose to move forward with whoever you decide to move forward with. If you're currently in a partnership and it has grown stuck or stagnant in that 7 of Pentacles, you don't really know where the connection is going. You know, you got to a certain point and then it just kind of grew stale or stagnant. I feel like you have an opportunity over the course of the next 30 days for this relationship to transform. It looks like there is a discussion here between you and the other individual. The answers you need are coming. So I think it's really important for you to, again, meditate and contemplate what it is that you want from this connection, because this conversation is occurring before Cancer season, or like I said, very early on in Cancer season. And I think you need to be able to present to yourself, to this person, what it is that you desire in this partnership. Anything else we need to know? Let's get you a card for those of you where this is something completely new, okay? New soulmate connection, professional, platonic, or romantic. One card, if this is new coming in. One more shuffle. Thank you. New coming in, the Fool. Well, nothing says new like the Fool. So again, if any of those messages that I said resonated for you, this is the opportune time for you to start on that so that new soulmate can come in, professional, platonic, or romantic. One card for those of you, if this is someone existing in your life, and again, the connection has grown stuck or stagnant. And again, it could be professional, platonic, or romantic, but there would be a conversation here between you and this individual on how to maybe heal the connection or how to move it forward. Move forward the friendship, the familial connection, or the romantic partnership. I see two people here then talking. Let's take a look at that, what that was. 9 of Cups. So one card here for my Cancerians where this is an existing professional, platonic, or romantic connection. One more shuffle. Thank you. If it's existing, King of Wands. So I have 2 kings here. If you have seen my readings before, welcome back. If you're new, howdy, howdy. But for me, queens exist in the present. They're processing the present. They process the past. Kings take action. It's not hierarchical or masculine versus feminine. It's just how I look at a suit of cards. So in this respect, this would be 2 individuals coming forward to have a discussion about the Hierophant, the job, the company, the collaboration, the family connection, the social group, you know, the political organization. Again, I don't know what this is for you, but this is someone currently in your life. Certainly could be a romantic partner, someone you're married to, or someone that you want some type of long-term committed partnership with. So again, I feel like your commitment is being tested to that Ace of Cups, whether it's something new or something existing in your life that you want to see it grow and flourish a bit more. It's important for you to use this time between now and the new moon in Gemini, which is on June 14th, to decide exactly what it is that you want. Then call in the new person, call in the new conversation with an existing person. And then the answers you need are coming. You will have this conversation with this person. But I think you need to figure out exactly what it is that you want from this professional, platonic, or romantic soulmate. Again, whether it's currently in your life or someone new that you're trying to bring into your life. Let's get you 3 cards of advice, my friends. So a connection here that will transform your life, or a current connection will be transformed. Nice, nice energy. Best reading so far. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the 7 of Cups to the 10 of Wands. Figure out what it is that you want in that job, in that friendship, in that relationship, in association with the Hierophant for me could be so many different things. I see that as a family member, a family group, social circle who's very close to you. I'm not talking about acquaintances. Hierophant could be a community group, political group, religious organization. Like I said, someone you're married to or you're in a long-term partnership with, or you want a higher level of commitment with them. So your commitment to that is being tested. I think it's important for you to figure out what it is that you want. 7 of Cups could be a little bit, I don't know, I'm unsure. And that 10 of Wands is like, I can't see it just yet. Like there's a lot of confusion here. So I just feel like your advice here is to break through that confusion, High Priestess, and utilize your intuition to do this, because that Knight of Wands is coming in quick. Either the conversation with someone currently in your life or the opportunity to connect with someone. But they're both coming in very quickly. Knight of Wands, the 5 of Swords, and the Tower. I don't think you see this coming. And I would be prepared for a conversation. You have the 10 of Pentacles, which is, for me, one of the best cards in tarot. So this is luxury, self-sufficiency, long-term committed partnership, new job, new financial prospects. So I would call in this person. I'm not too worried seeing the 5 of Swords, but I think you have an opportunity to, I want to say betray yourself here, but there could be, if you don't know, you're single and you put yourself out there and you meet these 2 people, that conflict could be internal to you. I don't know which one I should date. I don't know which one I should move forward with. And I think that's why it's important. This conversation will come in soon, or the meetup will come in soon. It's important for you to figure out what it is that you want from the connection that you're calling in. That is what I have for you, my dear. That is your new moon in Gemini message. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, highly claimable, by the way, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that on your mobile device. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace. Hello, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading, so as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it's meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said now, my friends, let's begin. We're tapping into the Leo collective now. Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the Oracle card here, please, for the Leo collective for their new moon in Gemini message? One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have Fire, card number 27. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Meditate, card number 40. Okay. Let's get a Moonology card here, please, for the Leo collective. For the new moon in Gemini message. Let's get one more shuffle. Thank you. Okay. We have Believe in the Impossible, Blue Moon. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way, Full Moon in Leo. We just had a blue moon, actually, the full moon in Sagittarius that we had at the end of May. Okay. Tell me more about this, please. So something may have occurred then in the energy of that full moon in Sagittarius. Something that was rare, right? Blue moons are rare. A blue moon, for those of you who don't know, is whenever we have two moons that occur within the same calendar 30-day period, the same month, if you will. And so we had a full moon in Scorpio at the start of May, and then we closed out the month with that full moon in Sagittarius, and that's what makes it rare. It is the only it was the only blue moon for the year. So I feel like something occurred at that time. Tell me more about this here, please, for the Leo collective. Maybe something that was impossible or something that was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, like for good or for bad. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Ten of Swords. Okay. Six of Wands and Justice. Bottom of the deck, Four of Wands. All right. So there's something here in regards to partnership, stability, house and home, family. It's possible in that full moon in Sagittarius that we had, that there was some kind of ending or just a feeling of betrayal that you experienced with someone. Tell me more about that. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Ten of Swords is clarified by the Hermit, the Hierophant, and the Page of Cups. Bottom of the deck, you have Ace of Pentacles. So that Hierophant can be a lot of different things for me as a reader. Someone you're married to, you have a committed partnership with, or you want a higher level of commitment with them. It certainly can be family, family member, very close inner circle of friends, social groups like political, community, or religious. And in terms of work, that would be like the corporation or company or entity that you work for. So there was an act of betrayal here that you experienced at the hands of someone connected to that Hierophant. What you're not seeing is the act of betrayal is actually bringing in a new opportunity. Tell me more about that. Tell me about the Six of Wands. That is Leo energy, by the way. I don't know how bad that Ten of Swords is for you or what it was for you. Because for me, a lot of the sword cards are sliding scale. So, you know, this could be a lie by omission, but you took it as a betrayal because they've done it 10 times to you. You know, it could be a betrayal in terms of like financial betrayal. I say that because I don't have pentacles. So as a reader, I look what's on the table, what's not on the table. So maybe for some of you, there was like a financial betrayal, like you were due a commission or a raise and you didn't receive it, or you received less than you thought you were getting. It certainly can be like a family member or a friend again. So that sliding scale, that Ten of Swords, it can be anything from emotional disappointment to full out betrayal. I don't know how bad it is, and that's why I'm going to say that whoever inflicted that Ten of Swords on you, they are apologetic. And you might be sitting here rolling your eyes like, well, too fucking bad. But there is an apology. But again, a Page of Cups does not match the Ten of Swords that you felt. So this is almost giving me the feeling of like, I'm sorry you feel that way, which actually isn't a real apology. It's not, I'm sorry I did this to you, you know, and made you feel that way or made you experience those emotions or that experience. This is more like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Six of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. Six of Wands is clarified by the Lovers, the Queen of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Four of Swords. For me, queens exist in the present. They're processing the present. They're processing the past. And kings take action. I have you here in Queen of Cup energy. It's like I'm still processing what this person did to me, what transpired, the way I was slighted, the way I felt betrayed, the way I felt backstabbed. And you're holding on to that. Okay, you're holding on to the fire, like the anger, if you will. And again, you might have every right to do that. But I just see you here like you're making the choice here. I'm holding on to the fact that this person betrayed me, and it's almost like you want them to pay for it. You want them to pay for it, pay up for it. You want victory over that. So we'll use work as an example. Maybe there was a position you were interested at work and you applied for it and you didn't get it, but the lazy coworker next to you was promoted and received that. And you're still holding on to that bitterness, but you're like, you know what? I'm going to show them that they picked the wrong person for the job. I'm going to make it like my job. So this is the don't let pride get in your way, because there could be, again, just using that as an example, a little bit like, well, I'm going to show them that they picked the wrong person or that they should have picked me. I feel like you're pissed off about the Ten of Swords that happened. Please don't allow me or any tarot reader to tell you how you should feel about something. But this, to me, seems like your pride or your ego was injured by the act of betrayal. Even though there's a small apology here, it's not really, it would not balance the scales in your eyes. Like, okay, you're sorry that you gave the job to someone else after promising it to me. Okay, yeah, thanks for your sorry, but it doesn't change my position. I'm still pissed off about it, and I'm choosing to hold on to that because, again, I feel like pride or ego was injured. And look, pride or ego are not dirty words. We all have them. So, again, I just feel like it took a hit to your pride. This could be the same thing if this was a relationship, a friend backstabs you or a family member backstabs you, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. And it's like, yeah, well, I'm still pissed off that you did that. I still want you to right that wrong. There it is. Thank you. You still want whoever did this to you to right the wrong. And you don't care how sorry they are. You just want them to right the wrong. If it's not your message, just check another placement. I think you need to also believe in the impossible, because I think what you don't see coming is the wrong being righted some way, somehow, karmically balanced, whether through that person or people or something else. Justice. Tell me about justice. I think you're fired up, pissed off over this. Tell me about justice. One more shuffle. Thank you. Justice is clarified by Three of Swords, Temperance, and the Death card. Bottom of the deck, the High Priestess. I think you're really pissed off. And look, you may have every right to be pissed off at that professional, platonic, or romantic connection, or again, group of people, no matter how sorry they claim to be or they state that they are. I think you have every right to be upset. But I think what you don't see coming is there's some angelic support, if you will, Temperance to the Death card, that will actually prove to you that this was, I don't want to say worth it when someone experiences the Ten of Swords, because I've gone through it recently and it's taken me a lot to recover from it, and I'm still processing everything. I'm still Queen of Cups like you are. Don't accuse me of being a Leo. I'm not a Leo. I have like no Leo placements. But so I understand what that is for you. Obviously not exactly, because it's a collective general reading. But I just feel like what you're not seeing is this ends up turning out in your favor. Like you end up better off for it, even though you might not see it now, because right now you're just like, I want them to pay for this, or I want them to make it right, or I want to prove to them that they shouldn't have crossed me, or again, they picked the wrong person. They shouldn't have effed with me. They shouldn't have effed with me. Tell me about that Death card. I feel like you're getting angelic support. You might not see it now. And I think that's what this message is for. So we have that new moon in Gemini. This is that reading. On June 14th, I would call this in. I would do a new moon ritual. You can go to my website, thetimelinetarot.com. In the navigation or the menu there, click on Toolbox. It's a spiritual toolbox. The new moon rituals are free. You don't have to join, become a member, or anything like that. There are 3 new moon rituals select the one that you feel the most comfortable with performing. I would perform this in the energy of the new moon, and I would call this in, this karmic correction, if you will. Tell me more about the Death card. Okay. Knight of Wands. I feel like it will come in quickly. The Knight of Wands in your deck always gives me that feeling of like success, like valor, victory. Tell me more about that Death card here. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Ten of Wands and the Page of Swords. There's that communication. Five of Wands because of that conflict. The Fool card and the Two of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles here. Okay, look, if this is a court ruling, you might feel like, well, that job or that family member or that group of people, maybe they really screwed you over. Okay, maybe this is insurance and you're expecting a settlement and you didn't get the right amount, or there's just a lot of contentious, right? Justice could be court. Same thing if this is any type of like family dispute, maybe like inheritance, wills. Maybe you're going through a divorce and you're selling a property and you need to split the proceeds with your person. If it's legal in nature, regardless of what the context of that legality is, I think what you don't see coming is information communication that turns this around in your favor, that 10 of Pentacles. I think this ends up balancing itself out. So I would call this in. So if you're going through anything legal, anything financial, or some kind of court case, I would call this in, this news or information, because I don't think you can see how when you receive this news, it's like you're able to drop the burdens. You're able to, it's almost like you get to push right through it. And that's a change that you're not seeing right now. And I feel like there's some angelic support. So I would bring this in. If this is a friend, a family member, or a lover who did that, you know, betrayed you in some way or wounded you or hurt you in some way, there's some news, information, or communication that you're getting that they are receiving. I don't know how to say this. I'm not this kind of reader. It's almost like they're receiving what they did to you, but it might look different to you. So, example, this is a lover who cheated on you and you're really pissed off and you want to get them back, right? Because you're just so wounded, right? That hurts your pride and ego, right? At the core of it, when someone steps out on the connection with you and maybe you sever the tie and that Justice card, you're like, I'm done with you. I'm heartbroken. They end up receiving something that hurts them just as much, but it may not be the same thing. Like maybe they lose the promotion or they lose the job or their car breaks down, or you might not see it as an eye for an eye, but karmically it is, because they will feel 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords, just like they put on you. I'm literally not one of those readers. So I'm not telling you to do any kind of black magic. I'm not telling you to call in something negative for this person or these people. I think what you should be calling in the energy of the new moon is angelic support and a divine correction, a karmic correction for whatever has transpired here against you. Whatever, 'cause I feel like this is like a trespassing. It feels trespassing to me, like someone did something they shouldn't have done and you're really upset about it. I would just ask for karmic justice. That's what I would call in. I would call in the karmic justice, however the universe wants to bring it in to you, because I feel like the end result is the 10 of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, and the World card. So I just feel like this ends up having a little bit of like a happy ending that you did not see coming. And again, I think it's because right now you're caught up in this and you're holding on to the anger and you're making the choice to do that because you're still processing the past. And like I said, I get it. I'm going through it right now. I did not see that coming. I wouldn't have seen that coming in a million years. And it's a lot for me to process. But I am starting to get to the point where I do believe that it happened for a reason and I'm going to be better off in the long run for it. So this is your reading, not mine. I just want you to know that you're not alone with this. Whatever it is for you, whether it's legal or having to do with some other type of structure in your life or long-standing connection in your life, I would just call in for, I don't even want to call it retribution, karmic correction. I would call in for new in the energy of the new moon in Gemini. And then I would believe that the impossible is about to happen. And so meditate on that, right? Some of the, any of the new moon rituals that you do, new moon, full moon, doesn't matter. You need to meditate on it, okay? And there's also on that website meditation guide for you as well, for those of you not familiar with meditation. So let's get you 3 cards of advice here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Page of Pentacles and the Devil. And the Three of Cups, there's that cause for celebration. So I would call in the opportunity for you to overcome whatever toxicity this was here. Okay, I do think it's a cause for celebration here. Bottom of the deck, you have Seven of Swords. Yeah, someone did a number on you or is in the process of doing that. I think you're going to be okay, but I would call in the new to override this. There's some type of angelic support here that you should call in for. Can I get one card on that Devil? One more shuffle. Thank you. The Devil is clarified by the Wheel of Fortune. Everything's going to turn in your favor. Okay, this is a karmic cycle. That's why I would call in that karmic clearing, if you will, karmic justice, something like that. I feel like this is a destined turning point. You will overcome whatever this is. So call in for karmic balance, and that's exactly what will happen. And like I said, I do believe it is in your favor. That is what I have for you, Leo. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace. Hello, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading, so as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it's meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said, now let's begin. Let's get an oracle card, please, for the Virgo collective for the new moon in Gemini message. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have boundaries, card number 26. And at the bottom of the deck, we have friendship, card number 17. Let's get a moonology card here, please. For the Virgo collective, what is their moonology card for the new moon in Gemini? Let's get one more shuffle. Thank you. Moonology card. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. Well, bottom of the deck, the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Wow. Okay. So both you and Gemini share Mercury as a ruling planet. So there's one or two possible interactions or communications that you're having. Tell me more about this for the Virgo collective. Or it's once you have this communication or you receive this communication, then you'll have the answer you need to be able to like move forward right behind that. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus, and behind that is what do you need to release. Okay. Tell me more about this, please, for Virgo. Why do we have boundaries and communication is key for their new moon in Gemini message? One more shuffle. We'll take it. Thank you. We have the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Sun. And we have the Page of Swords. There's your communication. Bottom of the deck, we have Two of Cups. So there's some type of partnership here that you have been working on. Now, this could be professional, platonic, or romantic. Queen of Cups, there you are, whether you're masculine or feminine. And then the Queen of Swords. So it could be with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It does not have to be. It could just be someone that you currently are working with, talking to. Tell me more about this Eight of Pentacles. One more shuffle. Thank you. Eight of Pentacles is clarified by the Empress, the Magician, there you are, and the Fool. Wow. Bottom of the deck, Three of Swords. Three of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, King of Wands. So on the heels of this disappointment, this Three of Swords, okay, experience that you've had with this person, these tend to be specific, okay? So if it's not your reading, like don't force it, don't cram yourself into it. This is something you have already experienced. This is underlining energy for me at the bottom of the deck. So it's not like you don't see this coming and this is something that is happening. This is something you're already experiencing. So it's not your message. Like I said, just check another placement. But for those of you where you just had this Three of Swords moment with that Two of Cups, soulmate connection, professional, platonic, or romantic, some of you are actively working on manifesting a new opportunity, whether that is a new opportunity with that soulmate or a new opportunity with another soulmate. So it could be like the Three of Swords is you lost your job and now you're manifesting in like a new boss, you know, or you had a falling out with a friend, or that friendship ended, or there was some type of betrayal, and now you're manifesting in reconciliation with that person. So again, it's going to be different for all of you, but on the heels of the heartache, you appear here to be actively working on birthing or creating a new star or new opportunity for yourself. The Sun. Tell me about the Sun. Tell me about the Sun. So yeah, that new beginning will be different for each of you. For some of you, it includes this person, and for some of you, it doesn't. And that's all heavily dependent on what are you manifesting? Reconciliation or someone new? One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Sun is clarified by the Nine of Pentacles. There's that Three of Swords again, and the Seven of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Cups. So again, there's this feeling of, I've been very heartbroken, or I'm feeling all of this sadness or grief over this emotional loss or this betrayal. Something here didn't go according to plan. There's an emotional withdrawal here that is occurring. Like I said, some of you want this person back, some of you don't. But there is something here that through the experience that you had, there's something here important that you are learning when it comes to boundaries. Whether you want this person back in your life or not, again, like I said, that new beginning will include them for some of you, and for others of you it won't. And that's heavily dependent on what you are looking to create. But what is being illuminated to you, or what should be illuminated to you in the energy of the new moon in Gemini, is whether you want this person back or not, or these people back or not, because maybe for some of you it's like a group of friends. There's still that feeling of you will need better boundaries with this person or these people, whether you want them back or not. Page of Swords. Tell me about the Page of Swords here for Virgo. Why is the Page of Swords here? Thank you. We have the Nine of Wands. There's that wall going up. Eight of Cups because of the emotional loss. Six of Cups. At the bottom of the deck, Knight of Swords. So if this is your reading, this is something that you will need to communicate. If you want to welcome this person or these people back into your life because you're manifesting this, then when the return occurs, the onus is on you to create the boundary. Like, this is something then that you need to communicate. If you're deciding that you have emotionally hurt me, speaking like you've emotionally hurt me and wounded me, but I care enough about this connection that I still want you in my life, then there's something here about you communicating to this person, I want to try to heal this connection with you, because right now I'm in the Eight of Cups. I'm at an emotional loss, or I feel like I'm at an emotional disadvantage in this connection, but I value it too much to walk away from it. But in order for me to stay, because I am so wounded, what I've learned, the Wounded Warrior card, if you will, in the Nine of Wands, is there's a wound here that you had to look at. And I think for some of you was you did not practice healthy boundaries. So, and I'm not blaming you for what this person did to you, but that was the lesson in that Three of Swords moment. I know. Couldn't the universe pick a nicer way to teach you that lesson? Sometimes no, unfortunately. And as someone who's currently going through it, and I'm not making a reading about me, sometimes these incidents in hindsight are needed. So if you are to welcome this Six of Cups connection back, we saw the Two of Cups at the onset of the reading, and 6 plus 2 is 8. So again, that would be like the person you're feeling this emotional loss with. The onus is on you to not just say you're going to create the boundary, but then to actually implement it. For others of you, this would be someone new that you're calling in, but there's still something here about you exercising and communicating healthy boundaries from the beginning. So what would that look like? Well, it could look like, I remember leaving one community group that I was involved with here in my town that I felt really took advantage of my good nature. Did they take advantage of me? Yes. In hindsight, I can say I allowed them to. I did not practice good boundaries. They were texting and calling me. There's, 50 women in that group, and they were all texting and calling me at different times because, when you come into an organization or any type of connection or group like that, you have, there's a new fresh set of eyes. And so you can look at it and go, well, this works, this doesn't work. And you start giving recommendations. And they were all very eager. They're a lot older than me. It was a women's club here in town. And they were all looking to me for like, well, what do you think works? How can we attract some newer members? I did not practice healthy boundaries. They drowned me in communication and I had to cut it off. But then I did manifest another type of organization because I still wanted community involvement, but not with that one. And that one had gone so off the rails. There was no way I could bring it back together and fix it because I let those people walk all over me for over a year. Like, this wasn't like it was a week and they pissed me off and I was like, F you, I'm out. It was like over a year. Like, even on holidays, I was being inundated with communication and stuff. So when I had manifested the new opportunity and the new opportunity arrived, I set clear boundaries from the beginning. And I didn't have to be all Queen of Swords, bitchy about it. But the first time someone said, hey, can I call you after the meeting to discuss this? I said no. But you can call me tomorrow. I'm available between 9 and 5. But after 5 p.m., that's like my time. This is a community organization. I'm volunteering. And I can't receive calls during dinner and they totally understood. But I had to set that boundary. And after that, a few of the people on the board, on the committee, tried to test that boundary by texting and calling me 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. I would not respond. And if they pushed it a second time, I would respond back and say, I'll respond back to you tomorrow, or I'll get back to you tomorrow. And they learned, but I had to create the boundary. I had to inform them of the boundary. And when they tested the boundary, instead of saying, F you, didn't I tell you not to call me after 5? It was just like, I will speak to you tomorrow about this. And yeah, for some of them, I had to do that 1 or 2 times, but they stopped. And now I'm in this group now for 4 years. I think I'm going on my 5th year now. And it's great. And we all get along and we all respect one another's boundaries when it comes to the time commitment. So whatever this is for you, professional, platonic, romantic, if you're calling this person back in, because that's what you're manifesting, maybe in the new moon in energy, you're manifesting them in, or you're doing a new moon ritual and you want reconciliation, there's still something here about you exercising better judgment with this person or these people. And if this is someone new coming in, I think between now and this new moon in Gemini, like between now and when you start calling them in, because new moons are great for you calling in the new, there is something here about you being very clear with yourself about what the boundaries will be. So when the new boss or the new business partner or the new friend or friend who becomes like family or the new lover, whoever this is, maybe you want reconnection with a long lost cousin, whoever this person is, if they're new, I think you need to be clear on your boundaries. So when they come in, again, you can nicely communicate it, because that was the lesson of that Three of Swords, was you did not practice healthy boundaries. We have friendship and we have release, and then we have home right behind that. So for some of you, you are releasing a friend, or you're releasing a family member, or you're releasing a lover, something like that. But I feel like the most important thing here is that your healthy boundaries with this person or these people can't just be with this one person. And I think that was the lesson here. It was like, once I went through that experience, I realized I have to create healthy boundaries with everyone in my life, not just the people I serve on a community group with. I need healthy boundaries with family members and with friends and with acquaintances and neighbors and my partner. So I feel like that was the basis here, if you will, of that Three of Swords moment. Again, I'm not saying that you deserved it, but I think that was the lesson here. I want to get one card for those of you where you are manifesting a return, manifesting reconnection or reconciliation with the person or people who did this. So one card of advice, we'll take it. And I'm sorry, not advice, but you're calling in reconciliation, the Star card. Okay, so there is a potential here for you to be able to manifest this person back. Now, I always say not to manifest the person back, because that sort of plays around with their free will and they might not want to come back, and that unfortunately is their choice. But you can manifest healing the connection, and if that means reconnection, you will welcome it. So that's how I would do the new moon ritual. I'll put a link for it in the comment section. It takes you to my website. The new moon rituals are free. I have 3 on my website. Pick the one that you feel is calling to you or more comfortable performing. And I would call in not for the actual person, but for reconciliation of the connection, whatever that looks like. And if that means reconciliation, you will welcome it in. But look, 7 of Wands, moving forward, you're going to practice some healthy boundaries with that person or those people. Let's get one card for those of you where you're manifesting someone new. One more shuffle. Thank you. And I'm taking that friendship card. Like, see the two crosses there? Again, it's giving me that like a visual image of boundaries. But friendship can mean like you're saying it in a friendly way, kind of like how I did with that new group that I'm part of. Not so new now, going on the 5th year, but there's something about being able to like in a friendly way, be able to say that. So for the new, we have judgment. You're going to have to make a judgment call when this person or these people come in, that you will exercise those boundaries with them. So the 3 of Swords that you incurred at the last connection may not occur in this one, because I feel like you let someone get away with something here for a little too long. And that's often how we play a role in the 3 of Swords. It's like we see it, we don't want to see it, we see the red flag, you know what I mean? Like we don't want to say anything again. It's not our fault that that person is taking advantage of us and causing us 3 of Swords. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes we don't practice good judgment when to say like enough is enough. So we facilitate that 3 of Swords in that respect, especially if the person is doing it like on a continual basis. The fact is we allow them to do that. Bottom of the deck, the devil. Okay, so I think the devil here was not having good boundaries with this person or these people. So you can call in for the new. Again, reconciliation is there, whatever that looks like to you. And then for those of you calling in, I'm sorry, that would be calling in reconciliation. And for those of you calling in the new, that judgment here will need to be made that you practice healthy boundaries. And I would, just going from my own experience, I would have healthy boundaries with everyone in your life. And those boundaries will be different from connection to connection, but I would still practice them. So the answers you need are coming. This new moon in Gemini, call in what it is that you want, reconciliation or new. But communication will also be key for you when it comes to, in a friendly or kind way, expressing those boundaries. Let's get you 3 cards of advice, my friend. One more shuffle. Thank you. Your advice. Knight of Cups. There's that Page of Swords, that communication. 5 of Cups. So you can call that 5 of Cups how you want. Bottom of the deck, 3 of Swords. You can call it in that this person that the 3 cups spill over for, I'm calling in the new moon in Gemini, reconciliation or healing in this connection. And again, whether the person wants to do that or not is completely up to them. You're just asking for healing and forgiveness. Again, still going to have to practice healthy boundaries. That's only your advice. And if you want someone new to come in, same thing. If you're now eyeing that new 2 of Cups soulmate, there's something here about learning from that past heartache and exercising good boundaries when this person or these people come in. Because for some of you, it could be a group of people that you're manifesting. That is what I have for you, Virgo, at this time. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video on your mobile device if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. They all should be up within the next day or two. I'm recording this on the 10th. Probably will release it on the 11th. So everyone should have their readings up no later than Friday. Saturday would be the absolute latest, but I'm trying to record them all today and then slowly edit and get them all out by Friday. So be sure to check your other placements. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace. Hello, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, just take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it's meant for someone else. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said, now let's begin. Tapping into Libra collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the Oracle card here for Libra's message for the new moon in Gemini? Let's get one more shuffle here. Thank you. We have Affluence, card number 5. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Transformation, card number 19. Right behind that, we have Divine Masculine. You could be the Divine Masculine, or maybe you're dealing with one. Let's get you a Moonology card now, please, for the Libra collective. Okay. Shuffle that again for you. Okay. Let's get a Moonology card here, please, for Libra, for their new moon in Gemini message. So maybe that something that started for you was on pause and now it's starting up again. I take everything that happens in a reading as a sign. So that could be something that you're experiencing, not a false start, but a delayed start. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Your Moonology card, hold your vision, fixed moon. So maybe that is a message there for some of you. Like you have to hold your vision to this goal or this dream or this plan that you have. There might have been like a hiccup or a little pause that you experience. Bottom of the deck, expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. So something that maybe was stalled or paused is about to move forward for you. Tell me more about this, please, for Libra. Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Why is affluence and hold your vision their new moon in Gemini message? One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Ten of Swords, we have the Empress, and we have the Queen of Swords. At the bottom of the deck, we have Three of Cups. So again, something that is coming to an end, or maybe you felt betrayed, or maybe just a delay in something ending. You could feel like the universe is betraying you, like I wanted this over already. Why isn't it over? So let's see where we go with this message. There's definitely a new beginning here, some type of new creation in your life. Something is transforming in your life. Clarify that Ten of Swords, please, here for Libra. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Ten of Swords is clarified by the Six of Wands, the Emperor, wow, and the Magician. Bottom of the deck, we have the Devil. Okay, so something toxic, situation, environment, connection, period of your life, a particular chapter has closed out. So you're either on the heels of it closing out or you're in the process of it closing out. But there's victory here to be had, and I feel like you're manifesting something new. You're manifesting transformation. So whether you are feminine or masculine, I feel like you're stepping into the role of the divine masculine. You're saying, this no longer works for me, or this has come to an end, or is in the process of ending, and now I want to shift and I want to create something new in my life. And I'm holding my vision, or at least that's your advice here. Hold your vision as the Emperor when it comes to leaning into your Empress energy to birth or create this new opportunity or chapter here in your life. The Empress. You could be an Emperor who's now manifesting an Empress, or vice versa. Whether that is someone that will be your business partner or a romantic partner. So take the messages, how they resonate to you. They are collective in nature. Clarify the Empress here. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Empress is clarified by the Ace of Cups, the King of Swords, and the Five of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have the Tower. Wow. So there's a little conflict here within you when it comes to birthing or creating this new chapter here in your life. The feeling that I get here is I don't want to dwell too much on the past. I want to move forward into the future. And I'm trying to manifest and co-create with the universe to create that new future for myself. But I'm not really quite sure what that future will look like. So I feel like that King of Swords to the Five of Swords is you, where there's some mental conflict. I know this didn't work or hasn't worked, right? It cycled out or is in the process of cycling out. And now I'm looking for the new job, the new living situation, the new relationship, just a new chapter of my life. And as much as I want to create this Ace of Cups, I'm not quite sure what it looks like. So I could be speaking to a Libra. I always like using work as an example because then I feel like you can extrapolate it and apply it to your life how you see fit. So this could be a job that closed out or is in the process of closing out, like maybe a contract job. And now it's like, I know that I need to create a new financial opportunity for myself, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do for a living. You know, maybe this is 10 years as a mechanic or 10 years as an accountant. And now you're like, I don't know what I want to do now that that job is no longer in my life or is cycling out or that contract is wrapping up. I don't really know what I want to do now for a living. Maybe I don't want to stay in that type of job or position or industry. So there's something like that here happening where it's like, I'm excited for the new. I want to create the new, but I don't really know what the new looks like. This could be a relationship that ended or cycled out of your life or is in the process. And you're like, well, now because of this relationship ending, I have a pretty good idea of the type of partner that I want. I want someone who's an equal. I want to manifest this new, love opportunity, this new relationship, but I don't really know how I would go about meeting this person. Is it the 3D world? Is it online? If it's online, what app? So I just feel like you know what you want. There's a feeling of like, I know what I want based on what has closed out, but I'm like not quite sure how to acquire it or what it will look like. Queen of Swords. Why is the Queen of Swords here for Libra? Why is the Queen of Swords here for Libra? One more shuffle. Thank you. Queen of Swords is clarified by the Eight of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Three of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have the King of Cups. There's definitely a feeling here of I am processing the past. For me, Queens exist in the present. They're processing what is going on. They're processing the past. Kings take action. And I have you here in King energy. The Emperor is the King of all kings. The King of Swords, again, this is the conflict of the mind of what does the new look like. Then the King of Wands is I want to take action to heal the past. Because the Queen of Swords here in your energy is like, I'm processing what closed out. I'm processing the way my life is transforming. I'm processing that there's a significant chapter here in my life that has ended or is on the precipice of ending. And I feel like this is more like you saying, I really need to heal this. I don't want to bring the bad blood or the bad feelings or the pain or the resentment into my next chapter. So I almost feel like you're trying to do both things at one time. I feel like you're trying to get a handle on the emotional loss, or just, again, just, I don't know, I'm just feeling all of this like that has closed out or is closing out, and I still need to process what occurred there. And it could be it closed out last week. It could be for some of you closed out, 30 years ago when you were a kid. I don't know where you are on the Libra timeline, but there's a processing of this while wanting the new. So I just feel like you are transforming on a lot of different layers or in a lot of different ways here in your life. I would expect powerful change. I think this new moon is going to hit you pretty, I don't want to say pretty hard, because I don't want to make it sound in a negative way. I just feel like there's a look back here and it's saying, because that's ended, I have a good idea of what I want. I just don't really know how to get there. I want to get you a couple more cards. I haven't clarified a lot of these for the signs, Libra, but I feel like this is very monumental here for you. I need to get a better handle on what has closed out or what is in the process of closing out. Tell me more about the difficult chapter here that is closing out for Libra. Tell me more about the difficult chapter. One more shuffle. Thank you. What is closing out? The Eight of Swords, something that you felt trapped in. Situation, environment, connection, or experience. We have the Three of Swords on one side. We have the Four of Swords on the other, and we have the Ace of Swords. So again, I don't feel like this is something that's happening now. It either just closed out or is in the process of closing out. There's some heartbreak over it, some sadness. We see that there with the Three of Swords. There's also some healing with the Four of Swords, but then you're holding the Ace of Swords. So it's like you've gained an incredible amount of knowledge from this past chapter that is closing out in your life. So something that kept you maybe a truck was involved. Could be a vehicular thing for some of you. Obviously only take that if it resonates. But something that kept you trapped or stuck. Five of Pentacles either affected you emotionally or financially. And then Judgment. So the judgment call here is made. Again, is that feeling of this is coming to an end. I don't really know where I'm going. But you're making the judgment call to leave the past in the past. They're still processing over the pain of the loss or the experience. But for the Libra collective I'm talking to, the judgment call here is I want better for myself than this. Let's get you 3 cards for the processing of the pain. 3 cards here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Processing of the pain. Ace of Wands, Six of Swords, and the Lovers. Bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Swords. I really like this. And again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you energetically what is here over the course of the next week. There's a feeling here of a better understanding of why that happened, how your life was transformed by it. You're armed with the Ace of Swords here. So they're in that Eight of Swords. Your deck is very unique in terms of the images on it. So I'm armed with the truth. I have clarity. I understand that why that closed or is in the process of closing. I also know that I want better for myself moving forward. And this is active participation. Like I'm making the choice to heal this. Some of you, maybe with that Queen of Swords, you're seeing a therapist or a counselor. That's quite possible. For others of you, this could be a marriage that is ending. That's quite possible as well. Sometimes I see King or Queen of Swords as attorneys. Obviously, I'm not telling you your marriage is ending if you don't know it's ending. This would be something you're like already in the process of doing. But still, it's making the active choice here to work on your healing. So you're either in the process of doing this, or within the next week, you might say, okay, I need to start looking up some self-help stuff, or possibly even talking to a counselor or therapist to process all of the losses or endings that I've had in my life. And I like this because you're not being forced into this. This is an active choice on your behalf. So I don't want this. I want better for myself. I still need to process the ending. And now I want the new. So I think you need to hold your vision on the new. I know you have a lot going on. It's probably like the spinning of multiple plates. You know, this is closing out. I'm processing this closing out. Now I have to move towards the new. I just feel like it's a very taxing, burdening type of time for you. But it's definitely a transitional phase. It's not going to last forever. Can I get 3 cards, please, on that Ace of Cups, King of Swords, and the Five of Swords? One more shuffle. Thank you. King of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Pentacles. That's exactly it. I don't want this. I'm processing this. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I'm moving towards the new. I just don't know exactly what it will look like or where I will find it. You're on the road to affluence, though. So your next chapter will be a lot different, a lot healthier, a lot better for you financially and emotionally than this last chapter was that has closed out or is closing out. So yes, I would expect powerful change. Whatever chapter of your life is closing out, it's important that you reflect on this with someone, like I said, possibly a counselor or a therapist. You can try self-help. This seems to be very heavy energy here for me. 8 of Swords, 5 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords, 8 of Cups. It's like it's no joke. So this might be a lot of cumulative pain. So for some of you, may be beneficial to talk to someone about it, to process all of that. You do have, even though you can't see it, you do have a brand new beginning coming in. Expect powerful change. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini, I told you. And right behind that is prosperity lies ahead as well. So and right behind that, oh my God, a new start is coming in the new moon. So you definitely have a new chapter here happening. This just feels like I'm stuck. It's a feeling of I'm feeling stuck, maybe a little confused. I feel like clarity is going to come to you. You just need to hold your vision on the new, whatever that new is for you, situation, environment, or connection. And I feel whatever the cloudiness you have, or all the anxiety you could be feeling, like I don't know what the new looks like or I'm going to acquire it, just focus on the new. And I feel like the source will bring you here, will help bring you here. You keep manifesting that new situation, environment, or connection. And please continue to work on your healing. That's going to be very beneficial to you. Let's get you 3 cards of advice here for Libra. One more shuffle. Thank you. Your advice. 8 of Pentacles. It's a card of self-mastery, death card, on the heels of something ending. And there you are, the Emperor at the bottom of the deck. And then we have Temperance card, which is more healing, right? Balance, moderation, patience, healing. It's also, Temperance could sometimes talk about looking at something that we're currently experiencing in our lives to find the purpose or the meaning behind it. And I think it's only advice, but it would be very beneficial to you to understand, why did I go through all of that war? Why did that happen to me? What could I have done differently? Sometimes we stay in situations longer than we should have. Sometimes we engage in activities longer than we should have. So there's something here about getting to the root cause, okay, of the pain, or maybe your part in that 10 of Swords. We all play a part to some degree. I think it would be very beneficial for you to get some kind of help or counseling to do that. I wouldn't rely solely on tarot for this. This seems to be pretty big. If you can resonate with the reading. But in terms of advice, keep working on yourself on the heels of this ending. You are moving in the right direction. You do have angelic support. And if you can, over the course of the next week or two, speak to someone about this, about trying to find out the purpose or the meaning about why that happened to you. The knowledge you acquire from it will be very beneficial to your next chapter, which I assure you will be affluent for you. Okay, definitely headed in a better direction, Libra. That is what I have for you for your new moon in Gemini message. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that on your mobile device. And don't forget to check out your other placements. They should all be out by Friday. Until I read for you again, I'm wishing you light, love, and peace. Hello, Scorpio, Sun, Moon babies, rising as well as Venus. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, just take what fits and leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it's meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, rising as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said now, let's begin. In the background, if you're not familiar with him, that's my old man, Sammy, my 14-year-old old man. He got a new catnip toy today. I think it's called Yeow, something like that. I think instead of meow, it's called Yeow. Anyway, he's going to town with it, and it's hard to part him from it. So apologize if he's a bit of a distraction there. So let's tap into the Scorpio collective now, Sun, Moon, rising, as well as Venus placements. Let's begin with an oracle card here, please, for the Scorpio collective for their new moon in Gemini message. Let's get one more shuffle here for you. Thank you. We have Magic, card number 3. Some of you could be a life path 3 number. And then we have Nature Spirits, card number 39. 9 reduces to 3, so maybe 333 or 3333. Could be a number that is specific or means something specific here for someone watching. I would also look up those angel numbers, 333 as well as 3333. Okay, let's get a Moonology card here, please, for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, rising, as well as Venus placements. Magic, some of you could have Virgo or Gemini energy as well, like in your chart. You don't have to. It could be extra confirmation, and some of you could have some Earth placements as well with that Nature Spirits card. Let's get a Moonology card here, please, for the Scorpio collective. Thank you. You are good enough, full moon in Virgo. I was just saying, some of you may have some Earth placements there, right? Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So you have you are good enough, full moon in Virgo, and then you have it's time to take action, new moon in Aries. Okay. Tell me more about this message here, please, for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, rising, as well as Venus placements. Why is this their new moon in Gemini message? Magic, and you are good enough, full moon in Virgo. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Star, we have the 9 of Cups, and we have the Knight of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Cups. Wow. What tower did you just experience that you're healing from in that Star card energy? Because what precedes the Star is the Tower. Okay. Tell me more about the Star card. Tell me more about the Star card here. When I have the Star and the 9 of Cups come out like back to back or something like that, side by side, I usually see it as like wish fulfillment. So 2 separate messages here. One, you are healing from something that you have gone through. But in addition to that, there's wish fulfillment, something that you're manifesting, possibly coming in for you, or something that you need to take action and start working on so it can come in for you. The Star is clarified by the 9 of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and Temperance. Bottom of the deck, we have the King of Cups. Let me get a little bit more on this. Clarify the 9 of Cups here. Clarify the 9 of Cups here. I feel like you're healing a self-value or like self-worth wound. One more shuffle. Thank you. So maybe the Tower moment that you experienced triggered some type of, I need to work on my self-esteem, or I need to work on my self-worth, or I need to work on my self-value, because that appears to be what's balancing out here. So the 9 of Cups here is clarified by the 7 of Pentacles, the 4 of Wands, and the Queen of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have the 2 of Swords. Okay, let me get to this message in a second. So what's coming to me here is whatever the Tower moment was for you, whether it was in regards to a situation, environment, connection, or experience you had, it was meant to trigger for you something here. And that 9 of Pentacles, it's one of my favorite cards. Not to make your reading about me, but when I was going through the separation and then the divorce, I thought if I could become any tarot card in the deck, most people would say, I want to become the Emperor, Empress. And I was like, no, I want to become the 9 of Pentacles. The 9s are very individual numbers. This is someone who, they're good on their own. They don't really want for much. They may, want a connection. They may want friends, but they don't need them to survive. So it's not a codependent energy. It is someone who can take care of themselves emotionally, financially, spiritually. They enjoy the fruits of their labor. It's someone who's very grounded and very solid on their own. And it kind of is like pre-Empress energy for me anyway as a reader. So when we're looking at the card with that meaning that I have attached to it, like, you know, taking care of oneself and enjoying the fruits of your labor and being grounded and being independent. And that doesn't mean independent like single. You could be single or partnered and still be the Nine of Pentacles. In fact, it's a lot healthier to be in connection when you are the Nine of Pentacles, because then you're not codependent. So we have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Wands, which is someone who knows their worth and value. It's also the second most intuitive queen in tarot. And then you have Temperance here, which talks about balance and moderation, patience, as well as healing. So I feel like there was something off balance. Don't be offended. These readings are intended to help. Off balance in a Scorpio collective where maybe you didn't have a lot of self-worth or self-value or low self-esteem, and you became involved in a situation, environment, connection, or experience that either took advantage of you, because when you don't know your worth and value, how can you expect anyone else to have your worth, know your worth and value? So maybe you were taken advantage of at work, or in a business partnership, or with a friendship, or a romantic partnership, or maybe even within like the dynamic of a family. But I just feel like whatever the Tower moment was, it was intended to get you to focus on me. Aries energy, time to take action on my own behalf, me, myself, and I. Oh, right behind that, don't let your past hold you back. And then right behind that is luck is on your side. So I do think you have something good coming, but you are definitely healing this self-worth wound. Healing this self-worth wound that, again, was caused by some kind of tower that's not even energetically coming up in the reading just yet, which I think is a good sign, because it tells me most of you are already on this path. This now enables you to create magic, to create what it is that you want. Because when our worth or value changes to ourselves, like our self-worth or self-value, suddenly what we want is entirely different. And I'll use myself as an example. Post-separation, post-divorce, when I was leaving the marital home, I came to this house. I had very low, and I'm not saying that I came to this house because I had low self-worth or self-value, but it is an old fixer-upper. It's a Victorian home from 1860. God knows that it needs a tremendous amount of work. There's stuff that's required in this house that I do not have the money, probably will never have the amount of money it takes to actually fix it and make this like a completely functioning, operating home. The attic is gorgeous. I worked very hard with my own two hands to make that happen. But there are rooms in this house that are in complete disarray, again, because of its age and the lack of finances. But I thought, it's good enough. I had very low self-worth, self-value. It's good enough. I don't, I can't expect much type of feeling. Now that my self-worth and my self-value has improved over the course of the 6 years, I've become more of a Nine of Pentacles. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I do think I'm well on my way to becoming more, single, free, independent in terms of being able to take care of myself without being codependent on others. Now the type of housing situation that I'm looking to manifest and co-create with the divine to have in my life is much different than the house that I'm currently in. So when your self-worth and self-value increases, if you will, you start looking around at your surroundings. You start looking around at your connections. You start looking around what you do for a living, and you're like, I deserve a better job. In fact, I know I deserve a better job. I'm good enough, right? And same thing in any of our connections. So there's something here in the Scorpio collective that as your self-worth and self-value improves, you now get to decide what you want your future to look like. Because the situations, environments, or connections that you may be tolerated or engaged with in the past are no longer going to resonate with you in the future. They either need to elevate and change, which is quite possible, right? Suddenly maybe your job sees that, you are the prized employee or you deserve that raise or promotion. Maybe the friend, family member, or lover starts seeing your value and worth. That could possibly happen too, especially when we start recognizing it within ourselves. But even if none of those scenarios happen, the fact is when we elevate, certain situations, environments, or connections kind of leave our life. And that leaves like a energetic hole, if you will, a space. If you've seen the readings before, welcome back. If you're new, howdy, howdy. But I usually look at energy, and like the best example I could give is like looking at it in terms of a closet. When we start to increase our value, our self-worth, we're taking better care of ourselves. We look at that closet of clothes and we're like, wow, that's been hanging around for 10 years. I've not put on those pair of jeans in 10 years. They're completely out of fashion. They don't fit me anymore. So when we start cleaning house, if you will, and we start getting rid of those items, we now have holes in our closet, right? We now have all of the space. so we can bring new stuff in. I feel like that's sort of where you're at right now, if this message is resonating for you. So it's like, now I have to give considerable thought. Now that I am creating energetic space for myself, because I know my value, my worth, and certain situations, environments, or connections are leaving my life, or maybe even bad habits or patterns that I have are leaving my life. What do I want to fill that closet with? So 7 of Pentacles to 9 of Cups is like, give considerable thought to what you want to bring into that closet. Again, we're just using that as an example. So 4 of Wands and the Queen of Swords. I love the Queens in tarot, and whether you're masculine or feminine, I don't read body parts. For me, especially when I'm doing this type of reading where I'm like trying to look at your energy, I often see the Queens as existing in the present. They process the present. They certainly process the past. Kings take action. I don't have any King energy yet on the table for you. But the feeling here is like, based upon my past experiences, I'm now learning. I'm learning self-worth. I'm learning self-value. I'm taking better care of myself, probably more focused on my money or long-term stability than I have been in a long time, speaking like you, not like myself. And now based upon those past experiences, and now based upon knowing my worth and value, 7 of Pentacles to 9 of Cups is, I get to create, if you will, anything I want now to put in that closet. What do I want to create? What do I want to manifest? Because what I was manifesting in the past, I don't want anymore. Maybe I was manifesting to lose 20 pounds and fit into those 10-year-old jeans. Now I've decided to donate them, or I'm going to throw them out or give them away. So now I get to manifest a new pair of jeans. Again, just using that as an analogy. What brand do I want? What cut do I want? What style do I want? That seems to be what is happening here. Creating energetic space, knowing your self-worth, self-value, and now deciding what are the 9 of Cups to me. Again, 9s are very singular. So what pleases me? And I know some tarot readers are like, well, 9 of Cups is wish fulfillment. Yes and no. Again, it depends what we're clarifying, or the scope of the reading for me anyway as a reader. So yes, is this wish fulfillment for you? It sure as damn is. As soon as you figure out what that wish fulfillment is, then you can create the magic and bring it into your life. So I feel like right now, your new moon and Gemini messages, figure out what this is so you can start co-creating with the universe to bring it in. The relationship you want, the friendship you want, the housing situation you want in that 4 of Wands, the romantic partnership you want, or healing of a partnership, like whatever this is for you, figure it out. Because now that you know your self-worth or self-value, it might be very different than what you would have like settled or accepted in the past. So yeah, 9s are very singular. And I was going to say with the 9 of Cups, what's always interesting to me, and I forgot whose reading I said it in. Maybe it was Cancer's reading. I'm not sure. But I always feel like 9 of Cups is, I have to be emotionally stable and emotionally fulfilled all on my own before I can expect someone else to come in and bring me a cup. Because my 9 cups plus their Ace of Cups would be the 10 of Cups. No one's going to bring me the 9 of Cups, and no one's going to bring me all 10 cups. I feel like that's tarot fairy tale knowledge that gets people stuck in really terrible cycles or patterns, waiting for someone to bring them emotional fulfillment. I'm really of the belief emotional fulfillment comes from us individually, because in all the tarot decks I have, and I just cleansed all of them last weekend, I forgot how many, I was counting them while I was doing them. It's either 141 or 151, something like that. In none of them does the Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, or King of Cups carry with them in that photo 9 cups or 10 cups. None of the decks that I have. And they're all around, surrounding me. They're all back there. None of them have that. They have 1 cup. And that's because we're supposed to be the 9 of Cups. Same thing with the Pentacle suit. The Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, the Queen and King of Pentacles only carry 1 pentacle. So we're supposed to be 9 of Pentacles and 9 of Cups. That's when someone comes in with that ace and brings us to the 10 of Cups, or brings us, to the 10 of Pentacles. So I think there's something really important here, Scorpio, that you've gone through that was supposed to teach you your self-worth and self-value, and how to find that stability, financial and emotional, within yourself, and to be content with that. And now that you're in the process of doing that, and you realize you are good enough and you deserve more, now something new can come in, or at least you can manifest for something new to come in. Clarify that Knight of Swords. Now you can take action. Clarify the Knight of Swords. One more shuffle. Thank you. Knight of Swords is clarified by Page of Swords, Page of Pentacles, and the Hanged Man. Bottom of the deck, 4 of Pentacles. Before you take action towards anything or anyone, I would figure out first, what is it that you're wanting? Like, let's say this is a job. The Tower moment was with a job. They didn't treat you well. They didn't pay you fairly. And maybe one day you abruptly were fired or you abruptly quit. And now you're healing. Now you're like, you know what? Looking back in hindsight, Queen of Wands to the Queen of Swords, they really undervalued me. They didn't treat me well. Well, now you get to co-create with the universe and draw in the type of job that you want. Now, co-create means you can't just hope and pray for it, right? You got to put those applications and resumes out there. So I feel like the moment you do that, it comes in. We get the message and the messenger, Page of Swords, Knight of Swords. So I think that's why it's really important for you to figure out, what is it that you want? Hangman to the Page of Pentacles. Because if you're going to just manifest in another shitty job, you know, sorry, but, you know, another crappy job, that's what you're going to get. So you would want to apply for and manifest a job that treats you better, has better terms and conditions, better benefits package, better pay. Same thing if you're a business owner. What type of clients do you want to attract? Now that you know your value and worth, maybe you need to increase your rates. And then manifest in the type of clients that would benefit from what you offer, you know, your services or your products, but also understand the value and worth that you offer them and are willing to compensate you for it. And same thing if this has to do with any other connection. We don't really have connection energy on the table, but kind of do with that 4 of Wands. If you're calling in a love partner or a friend or a circle of friends, what do you want them to be like? Because if you're just calling in what you were settling for in the past that caused that Tower moment, I don't think you're going to be happier. I don't think you're going to be happy. So I would give considerable thought between now and the new moon in Gemini, what it is that you want. I'll put a link below, pinned to the comments section. You can go to my website, thetimelinetarot.com, click on Toolbox. There's a spiritual toolbox there. The new moon rituals are free. You don't have to sign up for membership or anything like that. There are 3 new moon rituals on that page. Find the one that's most comfortable for you. Between now and June 14th, figure out exactly what it is that you want, the type of job, the type of friend, the type of lover. I wouldn't call in anything specific, like a job with ABC Corporation, or it has to be this love partner, Joe or Joanne. You know, I would just call in the characteristics that you want in that person, in that boss, in that job. Let the universe bring to you what you know you are worth, or what you know, someone who will value you or something like that. And whoever comes in, comes in. Whatever job comes in, comes in. But that's what I would do between now and like June 13th, June 14th. And then on the 14th, possibly even the 15th, because that's going to be a super new moon. So there's a lot of energy. So I would, for the like 1 or 2, 3 days, 14th, 15th, 16th, I would do the new moon ritual to call in the new. And they're fairly simple rituals. So you, like I said, you just pick the one that you feel most comfortable with. Anything else we need to know about this? And then we'll get you 3 cards of advice. So yeah, it's time to take action. Know your worth and value. Continue to work on that. Figure out really what the 9 of Cups is to you in terms of situations, environments, or connections. And then call them in. Maybe some of you need to meditate as well. Meditate, stay focused on what it is that you want, and then safe travel. Let the universe bring it to you. Right behind that was Saturn. So maybe for some of you, the lesson here, right, if we look at Saturn as like father time, for whatever time you had to deal with that, maybe the lesson there was self-worth or self-value. Maybe that was the role for that situation, environment, or connection in your life. Tell me more about this Page of Pentacles here. Not going to take it, but we should look at it. The Tower, the 6 of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles, they all came out sideways. So there is something here about figuring out what you want. So when the new offer comes in, it doesn't look like the past. It doesn't mean it can't be a past person or even your current place of employment or a past friend or a current friend. Like, I don't, I feel like there's more connection based for you, but just figure out what it is so you don't repeat a past cycle. I think that's what the important lesson here is. Do not repeat this past cycle. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I just think you're going to have the same Tower moment. So either the job, the friend, the family member, the lover, whoever was part of that, or the group, whatever, either they level up or you call in something new. And that's why I say when you manifest, don't call in someone specific. Characteristics, traits, qualities, that type of thing. That's what I would call in for a boss, friend, family member, community, maybe a realtor. Hello, me, if you want to relocate. you get to decide in that Page of Pentacles what offer will be given to you. So I would give considerable thought to this. I know as a Scorpio moon, I'm going to do that and then do my rituals. I probably will do all three of them because they're so fairly easy. So maybe do one on the 14th, one on the 15th, one on the 16th. That sounds about right. Anything else we need to know about that Page of Pentacles? And I love the Tower here because it is, it's Pluto, but it's also Uranus energy as of late for me. That's a higher octave of Mercury. Mercury rules communication, rules Gemini, and rules Virgo as well. So again, there's something here about it, what you're manifesting and co-creating with the divine. I want to use that word co-creating because you can't just hope and pray on that. You got to put in the effort. It comes into you very quickly. So be mindful of what you're manifesting because that Ace of Pentacles appears. Anything else we need to know about the Page of Pentacles? One more shuffle. Thank you. Knight of Cups, Six of Swords, and the Chariot. It comes in fast. Ace of Wands. That's the truth. By Cancer season, which is only like 2 weeks away, a week after the new moon in Gemini. So I would give considerable thought, call it in, and then watch it come in. But of course, like I said, you're going to have to co-create. I don't know anyone who says, I want a new job, and they don't apply for anything and get a new job. You know what I mean? I don't know anyone who says, I want to relocate, and they never look at a house, and someone knocks on their door and just gives them a key. Like, that's not going to happen. But you do need to put in the effort. And if you do, and you don't lower your standards, what you want comes in. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. But your biggest lesson here with whatever transpired, Ace of Pentacles, I told you it comes in. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. You get to decide what is that Ace of Pentacles and who delivers it to you. And also in this deck, the Ace of Pentacles is labeled as manifestation. So manifest what you want. Hermit, think about it. You are good enough. Virgo energy and the Star. Because now you know your self-worth. Now you've healed. 3 of Wands. And then wait for it to come in. It's time to take action. That is what I have for you, Scorpio. I forgot whose other reading I said was highly claimable. I think it was Cancer. So out of this round of readings, second highest claimable reading that I've done with Cancer being the first. But that is what I have for you. Figure out that Ace of Pentacles, start co-creating it, and watch it come in, or at least watch some news be delivered to you that it is coming in, or the offer opportunity is coming in. And then Hangman, you get to decide if you want it or not. You know, we always have choice. We always have free will. But call it in and see what or who comes in. That's what I have for you. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video on your mobile device if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. They should all be out by Friday. Until I read for you again, I'm wishing you light, love, and peace. Hello, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it's meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said now, let's begin. We're tapping into the Sagittarius collective to see what message Source has for you for the new moon in Gemini, which is your opposite sign. Make sure that mic is on. It is. Okay. So let's get an oracle card here for you for the Sagittarius collective for their new moon in Gemini message. One more shuffle here. Thank you. You have Karmic Path, card number 8. At the bottom of the deck, you have Focus, card number 24. Okay, let's get a Moonology card here, please, for Sagittarius. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Your Moonology card. A fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. The bottom of the deck, we have a new cycle begins. Could be romantic, professional, or platonic. The new moon in Libra. Libra is the house of contracts, partnerships, marriage, relationships, whether they're professional, platonic, or romantic. I feel like something's coming to an end here. You may know this already, or you may suspect. That karmic path, that is Saturn. Tell me more about this here, please, for for Sagittarius. So maybe there's an end to a difficult cycle here is approaching, and you have a new cycle beginning or a new partnership beginning. Right behind that, you have nothing will come of the situation. Void of course, moon. Okay. Tell me more about this here, please, for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Six of Swords. We have the Four of Pentacles. And we have the Three of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have a Queen of Wands to the Ace of Pentacles. Six of Swords. Tell me about the Six of Swords. Thank you. This came out in the reverse. Seven of Wands in the reverse. The Moon. Judgment. Bottom of the deck, we have the Fool. Okay. I don't think you see this coming. I'm not the Jerry Springer of tarot readers. I'm not a fear-mongering tarot reader. If you've been here before, welcome back. You know that. If you're new, howdy, howdy. I feel like there's a fiery climax approaching. This is something you don't see coming. I feel like it's intended to push you onto a new path, a new cycle. There's a situation, environment, or a connection that you've been holding on to. And this Four of Pentacles, it's a bit of a comfort zone. It's not exactly what you would like it to be. And I feel like you're being pushed into a new beginning. There's some type of news, information, communication that you are receiving in the energy of the new moon that I think will make you realize that you need to focus yourself in a new direction. We have the Divine Feminine. You could be the divine feminine, or you're dealing with a divine feminine, or you need to now lean. If you're a masculine, you may have to lean into your divine feminine, because that Empress energy would be like birthing or creating something new. Four of Pentacles. Tell me about the Four of Pentacles. I'm going to clarify this more for you, Sag. Clarify that Four of Pentacles. Something you've been holding on to. Situation, environment, or connection. One more shuffle. Thank you. Four of Pentacles is clarified by the World. I feel like it's coming to an end. Ten of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Wheel of Fortune. I hate to say divine timing, but divine timing. There's something better waiting for you. A better environment, a better work. You know, this could be work for some of you. It certainly could be a relationship. I just feel like the universe is, I don't want to say a little tired, but a little tired of seeing you shortchanging yourself in a situation, environment, or connection because you're just stuck there. It's like complacency, it's dependable, it's stable, but there's no growth to it. Again, I'm not a fear-mongering tarot reader, but I mean, look at the cards on the table. We have the Six of Wands. The Seven of Wands is in the reverse. So I feel like you couldn't stop this if you wanted to. Seven of Wands is usually like you can put up a defense or something like that to stop this or to slow it down. But I don't think you see this coming. There's a judgment call here that's being made, and I feel like it's a spiritual one. Something you're holding on to is coming to an end, so you can move towards something that is like better balanced. I noticed in that Two of Pentacles, typically the Two of Pentacles, we've seen individual juggling two pentacles. But in this one, there's only one. This card in your deck always reminds me of the Ace of Pentacles. I always have to look twice at it before I call it when it comes out, because I only see that one glowing pentacle as opposed to two. And I feel like this is the universe pushing you into a new beginning, a new start, a new cycle, a new chapter, a new opportunity. Wheel of Fortune, Temperance, and the Four of Cups. Yeah, I think you've been sitting in that Four of Cups, Four of Pentacles. This feels like angelic support, if you will, to push you onto a new path. Clarify that Three of Cups. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Three of Cups is clarified by the Tower, the Celestial Weaver, and the Eight of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Six of Cups. This could be a connection that's been in your life for a long time, professional, platonic, or romantic. It could be a job. You know, it could be a living situation. Like maybe you have a lease and this is your landlord telling you within the next week or two they're not renewing your lease. There's something like that here happening. You could be maybe receiving notice from work. I want to know more about this. Six of Cups and that Page of Pentacles. Look at the Page of Pentacles like reading a notice or a document. So I feel like you're receiving something tangible. Notice, document, communication, information from someone who is tied to a situation, environment, or connection that you have been linked to for a while. Tell me more what's hidden in the energy of the moon. You know, and the new moon is dark. It's the full moon that is full and bright. So I really don't think that you see this coming. What is hidden in the energy of the moon? Tell me more about that. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the King of Swords. And we have the Eight of Swords. Bottom of the deck, the Star, Four of Wands. There's some type of notice, communication, offer, opportunity. It could be coming from a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This could also be an attorney. This is like a truth teller. This is something that you've worried about in that Eight of Swords. Like you suspected it, or you felt it coming on. Maybe over the course of the last 8 to 9 weeks, you felt like something is off at this, you know, job or something like that, or in this connection. Tell me more about what's hidden. Tell me more about what's hidden in the energy of the moon here. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the Five of Swords, manipulation, deceit, dishonesty, Three of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. I don't know if this is in career and finance or love and romance, but I think you're of the belief that you are working, collaborating, building something with this person or this group of people, and there's something here that you're receiving, some kind of news. I think you're going to feel a little blindsided by this. That Four of Cups to the Five of Swords, it's almost like you didn't see this coming. Typically in the Four of Cups, the person is sitting at the base of a tree and there's an Ace of Cups coming that they don't see, they don't recognize. It's just, and I think in that moment, in this moment, you might feel like that's not fair. I didn't see that coming. I'm not ready to lose my job. I can't believe my person's breaking up with me or stepping out on the connection. I can't believe I'm fighting with this friend again, and now I feel forced to cut off the connection. There's something here that you've been clinging onto that I feel needs to leave your life, so a new cycle here can begin. Again, whether that's career and finance, love and romance, or something else is occurring here. And I feel like you would have hung on to this for as long as you could. But it is a karmic path. It's supposed to come to an end so you can start a new cycle. And I think some of you are going to feel a bit manipulated by this. Like, not manipulated, but like betrayed. Like, I didn't see this coming. Not seeing this coming. The World. Tell me about the World. Tell me about the World card. I feel like this message is supposed to be not a fear-mongering message for you. Look, if you're at a job and you already know that it's been tumultuous, I feel like something's going to happen here. And the reason for the reading is like, okay, you need to focus. You know that you need to get out of this place. So maybe this week, buckle down and try to find another job or get your finances in order or start to get your finances in order. Something like that is happening. And same thing if you're in a connection with someone, a friend, a family member, a lover, and it's been on the rocks and things aren't going so well, and maybe you've even contemplating leaving this person, but there's some nostalgic reason why you stay. There's just something here, some type of information or communication is like given to you or revealed to you in the energy of this new moon in Gemini, which actually is a super moon. So a couple of days before, maybe up to a week afterwards. And I feel like this message is trying to tell you to focus. Like, don't get lost in the daydream that everything is fine here. So if you know that you're dealing with a situation, environment, or connection has been tumultuous or on its way out, I feel like there's some news or something here coming in that makes you realize it's over or it's ending. There's a fiery climax here approaching. It feels very argumentative to me. I think you feel a bit blindsided. Tell me more about the World card. One more shuffle. It's like, I knew this job sucked, but I didn't think they were going to give me, a notice or something like that. We have the Hierophant. So I'm asking what's coming to an end. The Hierophant. A marriage, a committed partnership, your association to a community group, political or religious organization, a job. In a career and finance reading, the Hierophant could be the corporation or company or entity you work for. The Hierophant, the Hangman, and the Empress. Bottom of the deck, Page of Pentacles. Again, reading some kind of letter or document. I feel like you've been holding on to this and that Hangman energy. I think you've been holding on to it. I think you knew, or you know that you need to let it go. And the universe is forcing you to step into divine feminine energy here. And that divine feminine energy, so you can create or birth a new chapter of your life. A new cycle here needs to begin. Nothing's going to come of this situation. Void of course moon. It was going nowhere. You got to the Four of Pentacles and that was it. There was no more growth. And the universe is like, enough. Sagittarius deserves better. Tell me about the better. Because now as you depart from whomever, whatever this is, you get to create the life you want. Get the job you want, in the industry you want, find the type of romantic partner you want, maybe a better friend, someone who's not manipulating you or gaslighting you. Tell me more about what's to come. One more shuffle. Thank you. What's to come? The Knight of Wands, Temperance, and the Two of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Strength, Ten of Pentacles, and Nine of Wands. Right behind that, Three of Swords. Three of Swords, Two of Swords, Ten of Swords. You will have a decision here. I don't think you can stay here anymore. There's something here ending, and you know it. I think you have suspected this for a while in that Eight of Swords. And now you'll get to make a decision about, okay, well, this job is ending. What am I going to do next? Okay, the lease is up. Where do I want to live next? But again, even look at the Two of Wands in your deck. It's almost like the decision is being made for you. You have a new opportunity. The Two of Pentacles looks like an Ace of Pentacles. And the Two of Wands, there are no wands. It's just a doorway. And you're like being ushered through it. I feel like you're being moved away from something that was not stable, inconsistent, some type of manipulation at play. I mean, if it's a job, we have no pentacles here except for the Three of Pentacles, that Four of Pentacles. So it's a job that doesn't pay you what you're worth, or there's no growth or advancement there. Tell me more about the new. One more shuffle. Thank you. King of Pentacles, King of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Wands. There's a new beginning here coming, and I feel like you're being forced into it. But it is something that will excite you. It is something that you'll be able to invest wholeheartedly into. So a new situation, environment, or connection here is what occurs when you're sort of being like ushered through that doorway. For me, queens exist in the present. They process the present. They process the past. Kings take action. So this is almost going to push you now to take your the investment of your resources, time, love, money, commitment, talent. It's going to be different for all of you, and apply it now into this new beginning. And look at that Nine of Swords. It's like you're not alone. There's some angel, archangel, I don't know, spirit guide. Someone is like helping you with this. Someone that it's like angelic support. The Nine of Swords is so different in your deck. This looks like an angel to me on the left. And it looks like, I don't want to say a child, but someone younger. So I just feel like you're being ushered here to a better situation, environment, or connection. Tell me about that fiery climax that's approaching. Because I feel like there's an argument or a disagreement. Or like I said, you might feel really like blindsided and angry over this. Thank you. We have the Seven of Cups. We have the Nine of Cups. So there's a little bit of feeling confused over this. I thought everything was okay in the Nine of Cups. I thought everything was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but I was happy here. And the Sun. Bottom of the deck, Two of Swords. Tell me more about the fiery climax that approaches. I think you're a bit confused by this. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Devil, the Queen of Swords, and the Death card. Bottom of the deck, Two of Swords. Yeah, I mean, even the Queen of Swords in this deck is looking at a document. I feel like you received some kind of notice, and I think a toxic situation, environment, or connection is ending here in your life. I think you're receiving some type of news about this, or something here is confirming what you have already known or suspected. Let's see if we can get timing for you. Not every card in tarot's timing. I mean, it's a new moon in Gemini message. I feel like you're receiving this within the next week or two. Because I'm doing this reading on the 10th. It should be out by Thursday or Friday of this week. The new moon is on the 14th. So maybe between now and like June 20th. But let's see if we can get timing for you. One more shuffle. Thank you. Actually, I should set my intention. Thank you. Timing for when Sagittarius receives this news, information, communication. One more shuffle. Thank you. Ace of Swords within 1 week. For me, swords are weak. You know, swords for me are weeks. Bottom of the deck, Seven of Swords. I think you're going to feel betrayed by this. Betrayed, backstabbed. I didn't see it coming. I thought it was coming, but I was hoping that it wasn't coming. And I think there's a feeling here, Eight of Wands, a communication to the Five of Pentacles. For some of you, this is like loss of revenue, but it could be emotional loss as well. So if you have a situation, environment, or connection in your life that you've been worried about, and you feel like you have wanted to end it, or there's a potential for it to end, I feel like this is your message that it's happening. And I think right now, Source just wants you to focus. Focus on the new path. Tell me about focus, and then we'll get you 3 cards of advice. Sorry, went a little long on this. I've been trying to keep them at around 12 minutes. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Focus. The Phoenix rising from the ashes. Focus on your new beginning. If this message is hitting home for you, I'm not scaring you. You already know. You have suspected, or you know that something or someone is on their way out of your life. So it's time for you to focus on what you want the new chapter to look like. Seven of Swords. Focus on this deception and that Five of Pentacles and then the Five of Cups. There's some type of emotional or financial loss. 10 of Wands, 3 of Wands. Again, this is Aries. I feel there's something here about feeling blindsided by this, angry. I suspected it, but I didn't want to believe it, or I didn't think it was going to happen to me. And this feels so sudden to me, even though your spidey senses have been telling you it's a possibility. But this feels like, I can't believe they did it, or they're doing it again. Because for some of you, this is like a repeat offender, someone that you have already, you've forgiven them, and now they're doing it again. There's like an escalation, 5 to the 7 of Swords. Let's get you 3 cards of advice, okay? I want to get you 3 cards of advice on how to deal with this situation, and then 3 cards of advice on what you need to focus on, okay? Because there's something here about focusing on your money, or focusing on staying stable, staying grounded, especially if this is work-related. But, I mean, for some of you, this is emotional. This feels like a betrayal that you suspected but didn't want to believe was possible. 3 cards of advice here for the fiery climax that approaches. One more shuffle. Thank you. The advice. Hangman in the reverse. Ace of Cups. 10 of Swords. Bottom of the deck, 2 of Pentacles. There's that 2 of Pentacles. Notice how in this deck, it's like the person is juggling 2 Pentacles. 2 of Cups and the Moon. There's that Queen of Swords receiving that letter. I think there's a partnership here coming to an end in your life, professional, platonic, or romantic. I feel like you delayed it. Sometimes the Hangman in the reverse could talk about indecision and delay. I know I should leave, but I don't want to leave, something like that. And what it does is it basically triggers self-destruction for you because you're staying in a situation, environment, or connection that no longer serves your highest good. And I feel like the universe has all of this love and compassion for you, that the only way that they can push you into the new beginning is to have something end. So there's something here, and it's only advice, okay, that when this comes to an end, to see it for what it is, to not try to hold, you know, white knuckle kind of, you know, stage 5 clinger, trying to hold on to this, because there is something beautiful and new that is trying to manifest. Something that you've wanted, that you really, really want, is trying to come in. And there's something here about like seeing the ending there for what it is. That's also the 3rd decan in Gemini. So that there's, and this new moon in Gemini is happening at, I believe, the same degree as the 3rd decan in Gemini. So something here is coming to an end. I want to get you 3 cards of advice on what you need to focus on. So again, if it's not your reading, then it's just not your reading, and that's okay. But I feel like this is specific for those of you where you have suspected something is ending. I think this is just your added confirmation. It's time for you to get ready. One more shuffle. Thank you. What you need to focus on. Queen of Cups, the World card, that ending, and the Empress. What do you want to build after this is over? Temperance. What do you want to build? What type of job do you want to have? What industry do you want to be in? What type of relationship do you want to be in? Where do you want to live? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? It's going to be different for all of you. But Source wants you to, again, it's only advice, for you to love yourself enough to be compassionate enough towards yourself in that Queen of Cups energy, whether you're masculine or feminine, and say, now that this is coming to an end, and I'm aware of it, I've suspected it, the reading has confirmed it, what do I want my new beginning to look like? What do I want to fill that cup with? And I feel like this is like, it's time to like plan. This is like staging. So it's time to plan. Temperance, 8 of Cups, and the Fool. Again, there's angelic support here to push you onto the new path. I think you stayed in something longer than you should have. That is what I have for you, Sagittarius. That is your new moon in Gemini ready. Time to focus and get ready on the new. You have some really great stuff that wants to come in for you, but unfortunately, something or someone else needs to leave your life before that can happen. That is what I have for you. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. They should all be out by Friday. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you good luck with this. And as always, I'm wishing you light, love, and peace. Hello, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, please take what fits and leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said now, let's begin. We're tapping into the Capricorn collective now, and we'll start off by getting you an oracle card here from the Secret Symbols Oracle deck for the Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is their message here for the new moon in Gemini? One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have Knowledge, card number 34, and at the bottom of the deck we have Focus, card number 24. Interesting. That was also at the bottom of the deck for the Sagittarius reading. So if you are a cusper, maybe you want to watch the Sagittarius reading as well. And if you're not sure what a cusper means, it means you're born within a few days of Sagittarius season ending and Capricorn season beginning. All right, let's get a Moonology card here, please, for the Capricorn collective for this new moon in Gemini message. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius. You could be dealing with an Aquarius. Bottom of the deck, we have adjustments are required. Third quarter moon. Okay. Tell me more about this here, please, for Capricorn. Why is this their new moon in Gemini message? Knowledge and bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the 6 of Cups. We have the 10 of Swords. And we have the 4 of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have the Lovers. Lovers, King of Cups, and the World card. So you either had an ending or there was a significant cycle that closed out with someone here in your life. Someone who's been in your life for a long time. A friend, a family member. It could be a lover. Even though you still held a great amount of love or esteem or respect for this person, and maybe you still have that for them, either the connection came to an end in the 10 of Swords or it radically changed. Like if this person is still in your life, either way, you know, either came to an end or it radically changed because of a 10 of Swords experience that you had with this person. Maybe for some of you, this started in Sagittarius season, because Focus is the Archer, which is Sagittarius. Right behind that, we have Transmute, which is a snake, and then Transformation. So maybe Scorpio to Sagittarius season of last year, or maybe you're dealing with a Scorpio or Sagittarius. Tell me more about this 6 of Cups here, this connection. Tell me more about the 6 of Cups. One more shuffle. Thank you. 6 of Cups is clarified by the Hierophant, the 9 of Swords, and the 3 of Swords. Bottom of the deck, 3 of Wands. 3 Swords, 3 of Wands, 3 Cups here. I mean, it could be third party, but that could be any type of influence. Obviously, don't take it if it's not yours. But the Hierophant could be a group that you are like a member of, whether that's community, political, could also be religious. For others of you, this is someone that you are married to, or you have a very deep or profound spiritual connection to this person. Certainly could be a family member. a friend, but it would have to be very close in your inner circle. Whatever this person did, it broke your heart and you still think about it. Three of Swords, a sliding scale. So there's anything here from disappointment to full out grief and heartbreak. Tell me about the Ten of Swords. Tell me about the Ten of Swords. One more shuffle. Thank you. Ten of Swords is clarified, another three. Three of Wands, Six of Pentacles, which shows two people, and the High Priestess. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Pentacles. That's you, whether you're masculine or feminine. Whether or not you want to fix this connection with this person, that's a decision that is entirely yours, and I don't really feel like that's what this reading is about. There's something here about you gaining deeper knowledge or higher knowledge. We're clarifying the knowledge card. As a result of this Ten of Swords, it was supposed to teach you something. We don't encounter the experiences and the pain that come with the Three of Swords, Ten of Swords type of ending or monumental shift in a connection if we weren't supposed to learn something from it. And I think that's what your focus is supposed to be. Like some of you are focused so much on the pain, and I understand that as someone who is also, you know, experiencing a level of Three of Swords to the Ten of Swords. Again, there's sliding scale sword cards for me, so I don't know how minor or major this experience was or the pain has been for you. But there's something here about redirecting, transmuting, transformation here, time, and then the new moon. All right, let me get into that for you in a second. But there's something here about taking the time to transform or transmute your focus. Instead of focusing on the pain, focus on what you were supposed to learn from the painful experience. That would be a better use of your time, of your energy, is to learn what was the lesson here. What was I supposed to learn from that experience? Four of Cups. Tell me about the Four of Cups. Because again, I feel like you're very focused on the Three Cups that you've lost or that have been knocked over or, you know, have been ruined here or something like that. Again, this isn't so much about whether or not you want to salvage the connection, take the person back, return to them. It's more about redirecting your focus or your attention from the pain into what was this painful experience supposed to teach me. Tell me about that Four of Cups. One more shuffle. Thank you. Like that's the adjustment here. That's the adjustment that's required. And right behind that, you have a time for healing. And then it's a time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio. So this is a time for healing. And I think your best avenue for that comes from focusing on the lesson. We have the King of Wands. We have the Strength card, and we have the World card. There's something here about taking action, making the decision. For me, Queens exist in the present. They're processing the present. They definitely process the past, and Kings take action. So this would be you, and it's only advice here to say better use of my time, my focus, my attention, my energy, is to not focus on the pain of the Three of Swords, Ten of Swords, but to focus on what was I supposed to learn from either that relationship ending or that particular chapter with that person ending. Because like I said, for some of you, you might still want to keep this person in your life. I don't know your specific story. You know, this could be a boss that you feel betrayed you, gave the position that you were vying for to someone else. Doesn't mean that you quit the job, but you go to work every day, you know, feeling backstabbed and betrayed. So again, I don't know if you want to keep this person or these people in your life, but either way, there's something here about redirecting your attention towards the chapter that closed out with them and learning. So tell us more about the learning, about the knowledge, what was supposed to be learned here. There's some wisdom, believe it or not, that is gained here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Eight of Swords, Knight of Wands, and the Devil. And that's you. Three of Cups, another three. Maybe for some of you this was third party. King of Pentacles in the Tower. Queen of Wands. Sometimes it's seen as the other woman, other man. In a third party reading, there's a Death card, Queen of Cups. Oh, this has third party written all over it. Whether that means someone got in the way of your relationship because it was your ex or their ex, or someone stepped out of the connection, whether it was you or them, or you had a meddling parent or friend or family member try to wreak havoc in your relationship, or a coworker at work that betrayed you so you didn't get the job or the promotion that you were expecting. So take it how it resonates to you. I definitely feel outside interference. And if it wasn't an actual person, someone here may have had an addiction, or maybe even had like an avoidant devil to the Knight of Wands here. Sometimes it's someone who's like an avoidant in a relationship. And so avoidance becomes a third party because it wreaks havoc and destruction in a relationship where you are loyal to someone and they're not loyal to you because they have their own, their attachment style is avoidant. And for whatever reason, they are afraid of commitment. So take it how it resonates to you. I do feel like there was, I'm going to call it external pressure or external participation from a person, place, or thing that disrupted a connection between you and another individual. And the lesson here that you were supposed to learn is to not ignore the signs. This is you. You're ruled by Saturn, and therefore you're represented in tarot by the Devil card. And there's something here that you knew that this person was untrustworthy or inconsistent, but in the Eight of Swords, even though you thought about it and it crossed your mind, you also kept yourself blindfolded to that. You didn't want to see that this person, friend, family member, lover, boss, coworker was capable of doing this to you. And so I think the lesson here is for you to trust your intuition moving forward. I know you can be very analytical when you want to be, and you have a brilliant mind when it comes to career and finance and handling tasks and responsibilities. And you're way more intuitive than I think other readers give Capricorn credit for. But on this one particular experience with this person, you doubted your intuition. And maybe that's something that you're to learn from this, is to never doubt your intuition again. When your gut tells you something is wrong, to believe it, to not ignore the red flags, to not excuse it, and certainly to know your power and your worth. Because I mean, you came out here very strong in, in the devil energy, which again is you. So there's something here about you like trusting yourself enough and trusting your intuition enough in the future that when your spidey senses go up and something doesn't sound right, or someone is behaving in a way that is inappropriate or inconsistent, to not make excuses for them. And so for some of you, that is the lesson here that you learned. For others of you, there was something here about third party. And again, whether that's alcohol, drugs, or an actual person that meddled in the connection, there's also something here about not ignoring that. When you're dating someone or in a relationship with someone and they have like a substance abuse issue, that's not something that can be ignored. If you feel like they're stepping out on you, that's not something you should ignore. So I'm not blaming you for what happened, but the lesson here was for you to trust yourself more and to never doubt your intuition again. And that's at least one of the things here in your book of knowledge that you were supposed to learn. And consequently, the High Priestess in Tarot is the only individual that actually holds the book of knowledge. So I think this was a huge lesson for you. Unfortunately, at the hands of someone that you trusted or admired or loved or respected. Sometimes we like to ask the universe, couldn't you have taught me this lesson in a more gentle way? But sometimes it uses the people that we care about to drive home the message a little bit harder, so we don't forget and so we don't continue to repeat the cycle. So this was a big lesson here for you when it came to trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. To never doubt that again moving forward. Anything else we need to know about the lesson? And then we'll get you 3 cards of advice. Anything else about the lesson? One more shuffle. Thank you. The lesson, Page of Swords, the Tower, and the King of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, 6 of Wands. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Because I think you were dealing with someone here who wanted to present themselves like they were on the same page as you or equal to you. But I think at the heart of it, they were a page. So it's a coworker who's trying to look like they're your rival or your equal, but they're not. It's a love partner who's trying to rise to the occasion and show you that they're the King or Queen of Pentacles and they're your match, and they're not. So the different lessons for different people here, not ignoring the red flags, not ignoring your intuition, knowing your value and worth. For others of you, it's when someone repeatedly, repetitively, I don't mean like a one-off day or 2 bad days, but someone repeatedly shows you that they're a page, don't assume or want to believe that they are a king or a queen. Even though that may be their potential, there's something here about like not trusting the potential and believing the person. Because I feel like for some of you, there was someone here that you held in high regard, but when that tower came in, you realized they had very little to offer. They weren't the woman or man that you had built them up to be. And that in itself could be devastating, because then it's like, oh my God, I should have known it, right? And then you start putting the weight of what happened on yourself. Like, why did I ignore this? And don't beat yourself up over this. Please don't do that. Some people are just really good at wearing masks. But there is something here about next time around, whether it's this person or someone else, you're never going to let that happen to you again. Bring love into the situation. Can I get a card for that? I think you need to love yourself. I think you need to be gentle with yourself. One more shuffle. Thank you. Yeah, Queen of Cups. You need to love yourself in light of this ending or emotional loss. Or again, some of you want this person in your life, some of you don't. But in the face of this chapter ending, there's something here about you focusing a little bit more on you in that Queen of Cups energy. Don't be so hard on yourself, okay, for what transpired here. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. I still feel like my Capricorn collective here is split. Like, I think some of you want to work things out with this person. I don't know why I keep picking that up. Or you want some kind of closure or something with them. And maybe for some of you, you just want to know why they did that, you know? So I'm going to get you 2 different sets. I don't think I've done that in this round, but maybe I did it for Sag. Let's do that. Let's get you 3 cards of advice for those of you where you definitively do not want this person back. 3 cards of advice for my Capricorns who do not want this person back. One more shuffle. Thank you. Even if like this is a work situation, you're like, I got to stay here till I find another job. You definitively know you're not staying at the job anymore. Like they've betrayed you. You're just going to look for another job. So you definitively know that you don't want this long term. The Hierophant, right? That marriage or job or relationship. So this is your advice. The Star and the Knight of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups. Pour into yourself. Okay, that is your best route here for healing. There's also another opportunity coming in. So if you definitively say, I don't want this person anymore, this job, there's another job opportunity coming in. There's another lover down the line coming in for you. Can I get a card on that Knight of Pentacles? And this is something that is more rooted in reality. Like if I were to look for a job, thank God this is keeping my lights on right now and food on the table for Sammy and I. I don't know where he's, oh, he's over there. He's off camera. But if I were to look for a job, I would want a job that is a Knight of Pentacles job as opposed to a Knight of Wands, because this is long-term financial stability. If I was looking for a partner, I would want a Knight of Pentacles partner, not a Knight of Wands. This looks good, smells good, feels good, but they leave as quickly as they come in. The Knight of Pentacles is the only knight that carries the Ace of Pentacles. So it's long-term emotional or long-term financial stability. So can I get a card on that Knight of Pentacles? Again, this is for those of you where you do not want the Hierophant back, whoever that person was to you. One more shuffle. Thank you. And it's like after hope, like hope is restored after your healing process here. 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, that's the truth, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so I don't really have timing on this except when you are ready. When Source feels like you are ready for the next job, the next relationship, the next friendship, the next community group for you to be part in, that's when it will come to you. So don't think that you're never going to find another job or another friend or friend group or lover or anything like that. That is not true. You have new waiting for you, kind of on standby. Universe is basically waiting for you now to just become a little bit more grounded and take better care of yourself in that 9 of Pentacles energy before this can come in. This person, place, or thing. Okay. For those of you where you would like to reconcile with this person, 3 cards here for my Capricorns who do want to reconcile with this individual. That's a lot of cards. We're not going to take all of them. There's like 7 cards there, but I did see the Sun card there, which is the most healing card in tarot when we're doing a healing reading. So for those of you looking to heal and reconcile, one more shuffle. Thank you. 7 of Swords, the Sun, and Judgment. Bottom of the deck, 3 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, the Emperor to the 3 of Cups. This can be healed. It's going to take a lot, but if you did want to reconcile and you reached out to this person and you made the judgment call and they made the judgment call to like rebirth this connection, heal this connection. I mean, this is the most successful card in tarot. So, but there is also something here about the Seven of Swords needs to be fully illuminated, which means we can't brush it under the rug and pretend it didn't happen. It needs to be discussed. There needs to be active healing on both parts to talk about the betrayal, the deception, who tried to get away with what and why. And then that judgment call can be made to like, yes, like rebirth it. But there's definitely something here about like illuminating the truth of what happened. I wouldn't just for me, I wouldn't just jump in and be like, okay, we're back together again. This needs to be discussed. The heartbreak, the sorrow, the grief, the manipulation, whatever transpired here. We can leave the Three Swords, the heartbreak in the back. That's what's happening here. This person is holding Four Swords, which is, holding Four Swords. So we can move on from the past and heal. This is a very different deck. Usually the person's holding Five Swords and there's two in the back. So we can leave the heartbreak in the past here, move forward and heal. But this needs to be discussed. This is the second decan of Aquarius. So again, new moon in Aquarius, if we're going to bring love back into the situation, can the situation be healed? Yeah, it absolutely can. But this needs to be thoroughly discussed. That is what I have for you, my dear. Your new moon in Gemini message is to try to transmute your focus, not so much from the pain, but into knowledge. Transmute it into knowledge. And the best way for you to do that is to focus on the lesson that this painful experience was supposed to teach you. That will also help expedite your healing as well. That is what I have for you. If you like these messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video on your mobile device if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. They should all be out by Friday. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light love. Good luck with this. Be gentle with yourself. And as always, light love and peace. Hello, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means that it is meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. Also, two quick things. If you hear a humming in the background, I have to have the AC on. I've been recording all day. It's late in the night. Had a very hot day, and this is an attic workspace that I have, so it is over 100 degrees up here. And two, chubby little 14-year-old man in the back there is Mr. Samuel. So if you see him running around, he got some new catnip toys today that he's playing with. All right, now that all of that's out of the way, let's tap into the Aquarius energy now for the Aquarius collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. We'll start off with an oracle card from the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck, and let's get a card for you for your new moon in Gemini message for the Aquarius collective. Thank you. We have transmute and we have power. At the bottom of the deck, we have safe travel. Behind that, we have water. Okay. Let's get a Moonology card here for you. Transmute, card number 44, and power is card number 46. Let's get a Moonology card here, please, for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements for their new moon in Gemini message. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Well, we just had a full moon in Gemini season. Actually, was a full moon in Sagittarius. I believe that was May 29th, something like that. It was a blue moon, which is interesting because the moon on this card is actually blue. It was a blue moon because it was a rare moon because we had two full moons in one month. At the bottom of the deck, we have conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse, and surrender to the divine, another full moon card. All three of your cards here are full moons, so something is coming to an end, cycling out, changing. Tell me more about this here for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Why is transmute and power and the answers you need are coming their new moon in Gemini message? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Five of Swords, Page of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, we have Ace of Pentacles, Strength card, and Nine of Pentacles. Five of Swords. What is this Five of Swords? This looks to me like chaos, conflict, arguments, disruption. Tell me more about this Five of Swords here for Aquarius. One more shuffle. Thank you. Could be manipulation for some of you. Five of Swords is clarified by the Eight of Cups, the Ten of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands. It's a lot of queens back to back to back. Let me see what that Page of Cups is. Because what it looks like to me is that there has been an emotionally disappointing situation, environment, or connection in your life or experience. It has plagued you for quite some time. You have been emotionally vacant or absent from this particular connection, meaning it has not really emotionally fulfilled you. And I don't know what that is, or who that is, I should say. Professional, platonic, or romantic connection here in your life. But smack on the heels of this ending is a new beginning. And there's something a little bit concerning here. Now, if this is work, that's a different story. Job is ending, you have a new job. But if this is like a romantic partnership, it's like on the heels of one ending, you're entering another one. There's like no time to transmute what occurred here. Page of Cups. Tell me about the Page of Cups. One more shuffle. Thank you. Page of Cups is clarified by Queen of Wands, Seven of Wands, and the Sun. Bottom of the deck, Temperance. Page of Pentacles. Why is the Page of Pentacles here? One more shuffle. Thank you. Page of Pentacles is clarified by Five of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, and Strength. Bottom of the deck, Three of Wands, the Magician, and the Seven of Cups. Okay. I have a group of you here where you have a situation, environment, or connection that has ended or is in the process of ending. I'm not the Jerry Springer of tarot reader, so I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm not a clickbait type of reader. There's clearly something here. You've been worried about it for quite some time, thinking about it for quite some time. You've not been emotionally fulfilled or satisfied. If this is a job, we don't have like any pentacles here for representing this job. So it's like one that doesn't pay you enough or pay you adequately or maybe even pay you on time. So whatever the situation, environment, or connection is here that's been plaguing you for quite some time, that you've decided to end either by force or by choice, it's coming to an end in your life. On the heels is a new beginning. Now, again, if this is a job ending and you're entering another job immediately, fair enough. If this is a relationship ending and you're immediately hopping into a new relationship, either way, I feel like there's something not quite right here. Even if that's a job, we're not transmuting any of the pain that we experienced from that ending or the disappointment. So there's something like, okay, this was disappointing, this hurt, this either came to an end or was a terrible act of betrayal. And now I'm just going to move on to the new and I'm just going to pretend everything is fine. Page of Cups is holding the Ace of Cups. I'm moving towards a new opportunity, the new situation, the new environment, the new connection. Queen of Wands, I'm feeling good. Someone here is interested in me, either to hire me, collaborate with me, work with me, ask me out on a date. Seven of Wands, I'm like living in my own little bubble here where the sun is shining and everything is wonderful. But I feel like your real power, because we're clarifying transmute and power, your real power here doesn't come from you pretending that this is okay or doesn't bother you or doesn't hurt or doesn't sting. This seems to be a little fake here. I have to be honest, as an Aquarius moon. And I know that you're the king and queen of, emotional detachment. And I very much admire that quality in the Aquarius collective because you're represented by the King of Swords for a reason, okay? And you're exceptionally brilliant when it comes to making those types of very logical, rational, fact-based decisions for yourself. But you are completely ignoring the pain here that has been caused by this betrayal, ending, or emotional loss. Again, even if this is work, You're just like starting the new job the next day or the next week. And it's like, we're never going to think about that other job again. So we're not processing the pain. And I think that's what we need to do. Like, your real power comes from transmuting that pain, turning pain into power, as opposed to just pretending everything's fine. And, oh, I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with that person, place, or thing anymore. Page of Pentacles is clarified by 5 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, and the Strength card. It takes a lot of strength to continue to try to portray yourself as the 9 of Pentacles when you're really not. I'm single, free, independent of that issue. I don't have to deal with that person ever again. But on the inside, when no one is looking, you're the 5 of Pentacles. There's sadness, there's remorse, there's regret, there's grief. So there's a loss here that you're experiencing, financial or emotional, maybe both for some of you. And you're trying to portray yourself as everything is fine and right on time. And again, I can appreciate you wanting to emotionally detach, but this should be looked at. I know that you're now moving in another direction. You're moving away. Some of you are like physically moving, like because of this ending. Like if this was a relationship, some of you are going to like move close to water, something like that. Creek, lake, ocean. But I'm not talking like 20 blocks away or there's a river running through the town. I mean like on the water. But there's a feeling here of like you're not really addressing this. Tell me more about the 5 of Swords, 8 of Cups, and 10 of Swords. And look, 10 of Swords is a sliding scale. This could be like you and your person had a really terrible argument and you guys are just back together again. And it's like reconciliation, and we're not addressing this. And I think you're giving away your power either to this person or to the experience by not feeling us. I think you need to feel this. I think you need to process this. And I don't think you're quite doing that. I think you're just ignoring and jumping into the next thing, whether, again, that's reconciliation or a new situation, environment, or connection. Tell me about that. 5 of Swords, 8 of Cups, 10 of Swords. What transpired here? One more shuffle. Thank you. And I'm not saying you got to walk around crying all day long. I've been going through some difficult stuff. I'm still here doing the reading for you. But when the camera's not on, I do allow myself some time to process what I'm experiencing. And I feel like I have a group of you here where you're really not doing that. Justice, 2 of Wands, and the 5 of Wands. So Justice, that's Libra. Libra is the house of marriage, contracts, partnerships, relationships, whether they're professional, platonic, or romantic. Either you or the other person, 10 of Cups and the Devil to the 8 of Wands here. Either you or the other person or people involved had a decision. They could have done the just, right, fair, honorable thing, whatever that is to you for your particular situation, and they chose not to. Instead, they mishandled the situation. Now, you could have mishandled it or they could have mishandled it. I don't know. It's a general collective reading. But there are at least 2 people involved here. I say at least because 5 of Wands sometimes could be a couple of people. So take it how it resonates. But you or the other person or you or the other party could have handled this differently. Even if you wanted to end this or they wanted to end it, they could have handled it differently. And they chose not to, or you chose not to. And it created emotional loss and betrayal and maybe financial loss. It's like making a really, really bad decision at work and then getting fired for it. You know, it's stepping out on your partner and now you're faced with a divorce. It's keeping someone waiting for a commitment until they walk out of your life. You know, so I feel like both parties played a role to some degree in this, but obviously that percentage is going to be different. 90%, 10%, 75, 25, you get the gist. But I feel like there was participation on 2 people's part here. Like, it took 2 people to make this, and it took 2 people to break this. And the breaking could have been handled differently. Someone made the choice to not handle the situation as well as they could have. Now, again, maybe some of you want to reconcile with this person and some of you don't. I don't have the World card here, so I'm not sure if this is like definitively closing out, although the cycle has to close out. The chapter has to close out. Whether you're going, you know, whether you keep this person or these people in your life or not, the chapter itself needs to close, and the only way you're going to do that is to feel that pain. Unfortunately, you're going to have to feel it to heal it. I mean, the Ace of Cups is a nice distraction, but that's all it is. You can't insulate yourself and keep yourself in a bubble forever. Tell me more about that Seven of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. Eight of Wands, High Priestess, and the Queen of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Four of Swords, Seven of Cups, and the Empress. Who's this? Can we get a yes or no on this, please? One more shuffle. Thank you. Four of Pentacles. Okay. Bottom of the deck, the Empress shows itself again. I feel like you want to communicate with this person. Whether like I said, you created this Ten of Swords, or you didn't create the Ten of Swords, or you participated in it happening. I have a group of you here that you do desire to communicate or speak to this person. They could be a Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn, but you're resisting doing that. So I have a group of you here where you you very much would like to talk to this person about what happened, but you're choosing not to. Instead, you're just moving towards something new, something that you feel would be emotionally satisfying for you. But with that devil energy to the Ten of Cups, it's an illusion. And the reason why it's an illusion is because if you don't heal this, you're going to carry this into the next situation, environment, or connection. And I think that's why this is your new moon in Gemini message. Like, conclusions are within reach. This cycle is closing out or wrapping up or something like that is happening. But I feel like you need to address what occurred here. And there is a group of you that desires to talk to this person, but you're holding yourselves back from doing that. Anything else we need to know about this? And then we'll get you a couple of different sets of advice. Anything else you need to know about this? One more shuffle. Thank you. Hermit, the Death card, and the Two of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Pentacles. Virgo energy is healing. I think you're bypassing your healing. And Seven of Swords, you're sabotaging yourself. This actually is an Aquarius card. So you're going right into King of Cups, Knight of Cups, Six of Wands. So I'm going to give you a couple of different examples of what this could be. I'm speaking to a couple here where one of you stepped out on the connection, whatever step out means. Hung out with your friends too much, spent too much money, entertained a third party. And now it's like, we're going to get back together again, and we're totally going to pretend that that didn't happen. That's not going to last very long. That's not conducive to healing the connection. Here's another example. You're with your partner and one of you stepped out. Let's say it was them. They stepped out on you and you're choosing now to move in a new direction. You're immediately entering another connection. There's no healing here. This is a job. You were terribly screwed over at work. You know, someone betrayed you, someone backstabbed you, someone made sure that you got fired, or that you were pushed to your limit, so you quit abruptly, and you're immediately starting a new job. And I think it's wonderful that you want to do that, but you still haven't processed the betrayal. So that's what's happening here. I feel like you need to transmute the betrayal, the pain of the betrayal. I think it'll be incredibly powerful for you to do that. Again, whether you created it, or you participated in it, or you were just a victim of it, it still needs to be addressed, whether you're looking for reconciliation or moving in another direction. There's something here about gaining knowledge from what transpired here. So if you bypass this lesson, and again, I'm not a fear-mongering tarot reader, but if you bypass transmuting this pain, I feel like this is going to happen again at the next situation, environment, or connection. Because in every Ten of Swords, there's a lesson. And before you fully move forward, move on, and pretend like that never happened, I feel like you have to get a little bit in touch with your feelings. Travel to Waters card here. And really process what took place here. I don't feel like you have processed it at all. Let's get you 3 cards of advice for processing that pain. One more shuffle. Thank you. Processing the pain. Nine of Swords to the Two of Cups. There's something here about this connection that still haunts you. Whether you want them back or not, or you're fixing it or not, or you're moving along, that professional, platonic, or romantic connection, something still plagues you about it. Three of Cups, bottom of the deck, Two of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles. I mean, for some of you, maybe this was third party. And again, whether you did it, they did it, I don't know. But something still plagues you about it. And you have a lot of emotions about this. 3 cups plus 2 is 5. So we have the second decan of Cancer. We have the first decan of Cancer. And the 5 of Cups is Scorpio energy. So, which is death card. So there's something here where this connection ended or radically transformed. And there's a lot of remorse and regret over it. And I feel like it would be more empowering for you to confront those feelings as opposed to pretending they didn't happen. Also, if this is third party, there's something here about going within and understanding the lesson about either why you initiated or created the third party or why you engaged in a third party. Because there's a lesson there. There's knowledge there for why you, like I said, either, you know, I don't know what point you are in the triangle, but there's knowledge there to be learned about why or how did you become a point on that triangle? Like, did you not address relationship issues and just stepped out of the connection? Did you ignore the red flags that your person was stepping out on you? Did you enter a connection with someone who is already in a long-term committed partnership? And like, why did you do that? Were you emotionally unavailable? And that's why you connected with someone else who was emotionally unavailable because they were in another relationship. So again, I don't know where you are, if this is a triangle, but if that's the case, I think there's some knowledge here that needs to be learned about why you participated in it, regardless of what point you're on. Let's get you 3 cards of advice here. We have the Lovers, the 10 of Cups. Yeah, somebody made a bad decision here or didn't handle something the way they should have. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. One more shuffle. Thank you. The 10 of Swords, the ending, the Chariot, and the 7 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Wands. There's something here about pausing. And I know some of you don't want to hear it, but whether that is professional, platonic, or romantic connection that came to an end, whether there was outside interference or not, I think someone, and that's you, the someone is you, needs to kind of pause in that 7 of Pentacles. I know that you want to start the new job and hop into the next relationship and find the next friend and all of that. And you can do that if you want, right? I'm not telling you not to. You have the divine gift of free will. But that 10 of Swords is going to plague you. That showed up twice here in 2 different decks. So you're still taking the pain with you as opposed to learning it and processing it. You know what I mean? And understanding your role in it and processing the pain and transmuting the pain into power. I feel like all you do is drag emotional baggage with you into the next chapter. It will affect the next blank, the next job, the next friendship, the next relationship. You're still carrying it with you. So there's something here about kind of pumping the brakes a little bit on reconciliation or like moving forward until this is like formally processed and formally addressed. And if this is a job, I'm not telling you to not find another job until you process this, but you still need to process this. Otherwise, you're just bringing all of that resentment into your new place of employment. Ace of Wands, there's that Justice and Judgment. Bottom of the deck, Page of Pentacles, Page of Swords. I know you're interested in the new, but there's definitely something here about processing what transpired. There's an important lesson there for you, and what that lesson is different for all of you. But if you, I heard denote or create some time in the energy of the new moon in Gemini to understand what transpired here and your role in it. I feel like the answers you need are coming. Conclusions are then within reach, and you can formally close out that cycle, that chapter. Even if you're going to reconnect with the person, I just don't see how you can do any of that. Totally move on or reconnect if that's not emotionally healed within you. That is what I have for you. If you like those messages, if they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video on your mobile device if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace. Hello, So Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your new moon in Gemini message. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. Also, two really quick notes. Chubby little cat walking around is my 14-year-old Samuel. He got some new toys today, so he's feeling a little kitten-like. So if you see him running around, that's what that's all about. And two, if you hear a hum in the background, it's literally 100 degrees up here. I've been recording all day. We had a very hot day. I have the AC running, but it is really hot here. This is the third floor office space attic of my home, so it's quite hot up here. So I apologize for the hum, but there was no other way for me to be able to get through your reading today. All right, let's tap into the Pisces collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. We're starting off with an oracle card from the Secret Symbols Oracle deck. What is the oracle card here for the Pisces collective for their new moon in Gemini message? One more shuffle. Thank you. Full moon, card number 29. Interesting. We have a full moon in Capricorn on June 29th. Bottom of the deck, you have air. Card number 28, you could be dealing with an air sign, or there's some kind of communication coming in between now and that full moon, or in the energy of the full moon. Behind air, we have grounded, and then we have friendship. Okay, let's get a Moonology card here, please, for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. For their new moon in Gemini message. One more shuffle. Thank you. Your Moonology card. Look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. We just had a full moon in Sagittarius at the end of May. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Show the World the Real You. Full moon in Aquarius. Interesting. Now let's see where we go with this. Why is this the message here for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements? Full moon, and look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Five of Cups. And we have the Ten of Swords. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have Ace of Swords, Six of Wands, and the Hierophant. All right, Ace of Wands. Tell me why the Ace of Wands is here for the Piscean collective. Take a look at that. It's a Magician, but Ten of Swords is the third decan of Gemini. That's actually what this new moon is occurring in. So I feel like something is coming to an end, or some type of communication here is received about an ending, or like I said, something that is ending. This could even be some type of communication about something that has already ended. So let's see where we go with this. Tell me about that Ace of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. Ace of Wands is clarified by Page of Pentacles, King of Cups, and the Page of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have a King of Wands. There's like one or two possible new opportunities coming to you. Page of Cups and Page of Pentacles. For me, Queens exist in the present. They process the present. They process the past. Kings take action. So when these two opportunities are presented to you between now and like the full moon here in Capricorn at the end of the month, there's something here about like you'll need to make a decision about which opportunity you're accepting. And look, if you're looking for a job and you're actively looking for a job, this would be like two new employers, like two new employment opportunities. If you're single and putting yourself out there, there could be two new love interests here. If you've been looking for any type of like loan or financing, again, there's two opportunities here. And look at you, like you're smack in the middle, and you have these two people presenting you with offers and opportunities. But I feel like you can only grasp one. You can only take one of these. Tell me about the Five of Cups. You have a new soulmate here entering. after one is cycling out or has cycled out of your life. Because the 2 cups are standing. So you have a new professional, platonic, or romantic soulmate here coming in. One more shuffle. Thank you. The 5 of Cups is clarified by the King of Swords, the 2 of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, 8 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and Temperance. So again, you have 2 people now. You have a decision here to make over the course of the next couple of weeks. Are you accepting option A or option B? You know, are you going to date this person or this person? This living situation or this living situation? This is big. This isn't like deciding whether or not you want to have Chinese food for dinner or Italian food for dinner. This is big. You're being presented here with 2 offers, and then a decision here will need to be made. Tell me about the 10 of Swords. Tell me about the 10 of Swords. One more shuffle. Thank you. 10 of Swords is clarified by Page of Wands, Ace of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, 2 of Pentacles, Hierophant, and the Hangman. You, my love, have probably the 3rd best reading. I think I said Cancer was the best reading, Scorpio was the 2nd best, and Pisces. So the water signs are bringing it home here. Definitely the best 3 readings. Now, 10 of Swords is uncomfortable, but I don't know how long ago that happened for you, or if this has been something that's slowly cycling out, you know, the divorce, leaving a job, leaving something contractual. I mean, there's sadness here. You're not happy that the job is ending. You're not happy that the relationship is ending, or the friendship is ending, or your association with this group is ending. But through the ending, or because of the ending, you are now being given 2 distinct opportunities. We have air and grounded. And look at that. You have air and earth. So you have 2 opportunities headed your way. Let's try to get you some cards on both of these opportunities. Friendship, divinity, boundaries. Yeah, and even look at the friendship card. 2 choices. And they intersect one another. Like they come in at the same time. All right, let's get 3 cards for choice number 1. So obviously, look, if you're looking for someone new to date, you'd have to put yourself out there. That's the only way that you would have 2 people interested in you, right? Either out in the 3D or online or dating app, however you desire to meet people. But if you're sitting in your house with the windows and door closed and you're hoping for a romantic partner, I don't see 2 people magically knocking on your door. So this does require effort on your part. Again, kings take action. The only thing we don't have is the King of Fire. But we have fire, fire here. So your decision will kind of bring out that King of Wands in you. 2 very distinct opportunities here. So again, 2 jobs, 2 love partners, 2 living situations on the heels of something painful or uncomfortable that has closed out for you. Can I get 3 cards for, let's call it opportunity number 1? Opportunity number 1. One more shuffle. Thank you. First opportunity. 5 of Swords, 7 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Cups. So Knight of Cups and Page of Cups. That's what's representing this opportunity. So now let's clarify that Page of Pentacles opportunity. Six of Pentacles. One more shuffle. Thank you. 6 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and the 3 of Wands. 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, and the Moon. Well, if I were you, I would go with option number 2. Okay, so the first option comes in. It's sweet. It's kind. This touches you emotionally. So this appears to be a new employer, a new lover, a new friend. Maybe someone wants to collaborate with you. This is someone who comes across as very sweet and very innocent, maybe a little shy. but they are appealing to your emotions as a water sign. Here's the problem with this offer or this person. 5 of Swords, 7 of Cups, and the 4 of Pentacles. There's a feeling here of, I will do or say anything to get Pisces to work here, to collaborate with me, to accept this job, to date me. This is a very mischievous type of energy. 5 of Swords, 7 of Cups. This is someone who can be very persuasive with their words, sell you a dream, sell you a pipe dream, sell you something that they can't really bring to fruition. So you go on the interview and everything sounds great and, oh, they're so nice and there's really sweet people, and they promise you all of this stuff, and then you accept the job, just using work as an example, and you're like, shit, I'm stuck here. This is backstabbing, betrayal. It's not what I thought it was. So you have one offer coming in from someone who seems sweet or innocent or exceptionally kind. Again, they appeal to your emotions, but this person does not have the ability to truly provide you with what it is that you're desiring. They can just make it sound really good. Then you have this other person. This offer, yes, 6 of Pentacles giving you this, okay? 6 of Pentacles is the moon in Taurus. So there's something tangible here. This seems to be more emotionally balanced person. This is someone who's a bit more generous. There's room here for advancement and for growth. The third card here is the 4 of Pentacles. Like, this can only get you so far, this situation, environment, or connection. Whereas this one in that 3 of Wands, you can go a lot further. This is the Sun in Aries. So there's a lot more growth potential here for you with this one. So this is the relationship that'll flourish, or the job that has room for advancement. This one appeals to your emotions, but there's not a lot of substance or real world there. And then this one might seem a little bit more boring, or like if it's a job interview, they're a little bit more corporate, if you will, but they're more generous and there's more expansive growth for you. So I would say when presented with these two opportunities, obviously you are the High Priestess of Tarot, so definitely use your intuition. But I would vet both of these situations, environments, or connections, and not allow yourself to be guided by your emotions, because that's the first thing that they're appealing to. This person is automatically appealing to your emotions. So there's something here about facts, figures, getting stuff in writing, looking at terms and conditions, maybe doing some investigative work. Like, you want to make sure maybe this person's not attached, you know, in that 5 of Swords, 7 of Cups, like if it's someone asking you out on a date. So there's just something here about like doing your due diligence and doing your homework. And it appears here that the one that you might find to be a little boring or not as exciting is actually better for you in the long run. Can we get timing when this is coming in? So look at the bigger picture. I think you have to look at the bigger picture here. You can't just look at what they're saying, how it makes you feel. There's something about like looking at the track record, contracts, black and white. Even if this is like a loan, it might sound good. It could be a property you're buying. It might sound good. Realtor makes it sound good. Something like that is occurring here, but you kind of need to take a more expansive view on this and like do your investigative work. Sagittarius is the opposite sign of Gemini. Gemini likes the details. Okay, so there's something here about like really getting into the nitty gritty, getting into the details. And this would be you showing the world the real you, because maybe in the past you would have went to something that appealed to your emotions. And this and the full moon in Aquarius, Aquarius is the king and queen of emotional detachment. So there's something here about like releasing your emotional detachment and instead looking at this very logically. Can we get one card here on that Page of Cups? And then we'll get you some advice. One more shuffle. Thank you. You have the Fool. So an opportunity there to have a new beginning with that person seems a little bit unsavory. And then for that Page of Pentacles, one more shuffle. Thank you. Knight of Pentacles. This is long lasting. Bottom of the deck, 2 of Pentacles. You're going to have a choice here. So this is a little bit more fun, free, carefree, sounds good, appeals to your emotions. Risky, okay, risky. And this is air. This is fleeting, okay? I see that as an air sign. This is more grounded, okay? This is rooted in pentacle, real pentacle, tangible resource, money, love, commitment. So I would definitely size both of these up and in a very emotionally detached way almost compare them, okay? I think you have to look at facts and figures and action and history as opposed to what they're saying. Anyone can make anything sound great, you know? This is like, if we were looking at this in terms of like YouTube videos, this is the boring title, but the video has substance. You can learn something from it. This is clickbait. It appeals to your emotions. It gets a reaction. And then you're halfway looking at the video and you're like, what the fuck is this? Right? This message doesn't even match the title. This is clickbait. Sounds good, feels good, appeals to your emotions. You click on it, you want to go for it. And this is maybe a little bit boring. Again, just using that YouTube video as an example, but this is grounded and you can learn something from it. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. So you'll be at a crossroads between the new moon in Gemini on the 14th and the full moon in Capricorn on the 29th when these 2 offers come in. 3 cards of advice here for the Pisces collective. One more shuffle. Thank you. The moon, told you, you don't see this coming. Queen of Pentacles, that's what you are here. And the 9 of Wands, bottom of the deck, the Fool card. Fool, 8 of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. I have a feeling that in the past you did this. Don't be mad at me. I get the feeling in the past you jumped towards something that was, you know, sounded exciting and appealed to your emotions, and then like you were trapped or heartbroken, ended up being a disaster. You didn't see it coming. You ignored the red flags, okay? I don't know if it's the same situation, environment, or connection. It may not be. It might just be the same lesson in a different meat suit. Sorry, that's kind of what we all are at the end of the day if you look at us as spiritual beings. So it could be the same situation, environment, or connection returning. That's really not the energy I get there with all those Knights and Pages, and it seems new. But it could be the same lesson, okay? And I'm not going to say that it's a test here, but there is something here about like you really evaluating the offer when it comes in and being a little guarded. Like don't jump head first into one or the other until you do your due diligence here. But 2 offers on the table coming in the next 3 weeks. That is what I have for you, my dear. That is your new moon and Gemini message. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. All the readings should be up by the end of the week. That's what I have for you, Pisces. As always, I'm wishing you light, love, and peace.